kind of surreal to look at all over the world. What is up, y'all? All right, pause that. Here we go.
Love it.
Michael, good morning.
Morning.
Where are you jumping in from?
You know what? I am in. I normally am in Atlanta, but today I'm in Boulder, Colorado, for some meetings. This afternoon. But I'm excited to be. I mean, this chat, I can't even keep up. with this chat.
Nuts,
crazy.
man.
I see a lot of fun places go by that I want to visit. That's why I like this chat.
Yeah, guys, let us know where you're from. If you've already told us where you're from, let us know your church name. What church are you a part of? We love seeing the names of churches. Some of you guys I recognize. Some of you I think were new for the first time. If you're jumping in for the very first time, I'm Ryan. I'll kind of be your host today. We got Chris Abbott here. His friends call him Abbo, so you guys can call him Abbo.
What's up,
We
y'all?
got Michael, that's in Boulder, Colorado. So you guys are going to love what we have in store for you today. Let us know where you're from and then what church you are a part of. It is pretty crazy to see here that all going by so quick. Chris, what church are you a part of?
Man, so I'm from Guts Church, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been there 17 years, 18 years.
Goodness gracious.
It's been a minute, bro.
Okay. I'm here in Kansas City, Lee Summit, part of Summit Park Church. My family moved here 10 years ago, guys. 10
Come
years
on.
ago today. Not today, probably this month, maybe today. It would be surreal if it was today. To help plant a church. Do we have any church planners in the house? Michael, you were a part of planting a church.
Yeah, that was back in the day. That's what actually brought us to the Atlanta area, and now we live in just north of Atlanta, and we attend and lead small groups and volunteer our whole family at North Point Community Church at the Alpharetta campus, the original campus.
Very
And so,
cool.
Yeah,
I
love all
love
these
it.
church names going by.
Yeah, it's so cool to see where everybody's from. We got some church planners in the house. Don't tell anybody else, but you church planners, you really are our favorite people. So, but nobody else listen to that. So
Everyone else is a loser.
Hey, also, we just broke 1,000 church leaders in the webinar here. So, guys, just good news for you. You guys, our webinar software allows 1,000 people to chat. So the first 1,000 people, you guys got the chat power. So we want you blowing up the chat. Everybody else, you guys will be texting our number there. So we do have a number. Our webinar software just can only handle the first 1,000 in the chat there. So just a heads up there. Hey, we want to get to know you guys. We've got great material, but a lot of this is about you, your church, about your plan this fall. So we'd love to know what best describes your job description. I've been kind of comms director, creative director. The Wakefield family serves in the kids department. I feel like done a little bit of thing, been in youth ministry for a little bit.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, speaking of youth ministry.
Yeah. So I was in youth ministry for 15 years. Man, love youth pastors, love youth ministry. I've been a worship leader for 19 years. But I've done a little bit of everything, right? I think we all have. I've worn a lot of hats.
Michael, what have you done?
Probably all the above, I think, pretty much. From youth ministry to church planning, pastoring. Like, I think what's missing, right? You got, like, you could have janitor, you can have setup director, you could have, like, all the things. Especially if you're a church planner, you've for sure done all those things.
Yep. You have for sure.
Lead pastors do a lot of those things too.
Hey, we are able to do the polls. So again, if you're just jumping on here, I would love for you to say in the poll what best describes your job description. There, it looks like we've got a lot of lead pastors here, some comms directors, and then I think the other people other category of just is like, hey, I wear all the hats. I do all the things. I do all the things.
I don't know how to pick. I don't know how to just limit it to one.
I love it. So be sure you guys are active in the chat throughout this workshop today. When we do a poll, and you guys will see the results of that poll, we'll be sure to put that in the chat and highlight there as well. So it's cool to see who we have. Hey, today is all about you and your fall visitor plan. You guys are going to love as we unpack this. We want this to be an interactive experience, but the goal is how can we put together a plan to get your church 10 to 15 new families this fall between right now and Christmas. What would that look like? So we're going to give you our best ideas. These are kind of our greatest hits in ways that can really help and encourage your church. So that's why we are here today. So if you're like, man, that sounds awesome, let us know in the chat. To kick this off, though, we want to take 60 seconds here and really cover a big announcement because there is some big news. We've been working on this for a few months now, and we're ready for this. Is the first time ever publicly we're going to share the big news. And if you guys give me a drum roll in the chat, because this is pretty cool. Church Fuel and Church Marketing University are joining forces. So we at Church Marketing University have been focused on helping churches get more visitors every single week. We've always admired what Michael has done over at Church Fuel, really focusing on how to have a healthy, growing church and church systems that are amazing. If you guys have been a part of either Church Marketing University or Church Fuel, would you please also let us know that in the chat? Because we've been talking for a while. What would it look like if we just came together, we all threw in and said, man, what could we do if we just went in together and helped local churches just have healthy growth, be a healthy church, be a growing church, and reach their community? So it's exciting news, guys. For the first time publicly, we are sharing this news. Church Fuel and Church Marketing University are going to be joining forces. So pretty cool here. Chris, thoughts on the big announcement?
Well, so like I'm pumped, like obviously like, you and I decided to join forces, right? Like a year and a half ago. And, and we've been friends with Michael for a while. We know that Michael's just brilliant. And I was like, man, I wonder if there's any way we could get his brain in here. And so I think having all of everything that Michael does and all of like his systems and stuff, I've been blown away. Every time Michael speaks, I'm out taking notes and blown away. So I think this is kind of a match made in heaven. This could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys. It's I'm excited too. Our team is excited too, because you guys have been kind of on the front line of helping churches reach new people, which is a huge thing. It's probably why a lot of us are here today. Of just how do we engage our community and get more new people to church, and we love to come alongside churches and help as well. So when people are kind of missionally aligned, it certainly makes it easier to kind of do stuff like this.
Yeah, and let me real quick brag on Michael, because we've seen what he's done with Church Fuel over the years, and really it's a treat to have him today as a part of this. For our CMU churches, I would say Michael is the leading expert in the world on healthy church systems, which is amazing. And so we're going to be talking about visitor system today. And Chris here, I'll brag on him as well. Both of these guys are super humble, but Chris is really the leading expert in Facebook ads for churches, how to get the word out about churches. And so to have us all together today to really dial in on your church, I think you're going to walk away encouraged and fired up, and really with some action plan in place for this fall. That's really what we're praying. And so, guys, we're going to be rolling this out. We're going to be kind of all unifying under the Church Fuel name and umbrella. And really the goal moving forward is like, how do we give churches insanely practical resources to help you lead a healthy and growing church? So if that sounds good, if you're like, man, that's what we need, insanely practical resources, give a shout out in the chat as well, because that's going to be the plan moving forward. How do you grow like crazy, but then also how do you also be healthy? And so now I think we've got a great partnership there, and to be all under one umbrella, I think is going to be incredible and a great way to serve the church. I saw a lot of people that have been a part of both. So if you've been a part of both, we're going to be telling you guys what that means and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of like things that we're going to be talking to you guys about. But the good news is we are upping our game to help serve you and your church and your team. And I think you guys are going to be blown away about the ideas that we have in store for you. Hey, speaking of ideas, we want to hook you guys up. This is a surprise. Now, we wanted to get the people who jumped in here first and early. Michael, I told you he's the world's leading expert in healthy church systems. He's also written the book on it. And one of the things that we want to bless you, we really are committed to serving you and your church really, really well at a high level. And so we just thought, man, this is crazy. This was not planned until I think yesterday. We decided, Michael, let's order 1,000 more of your books, and we may need to order more, and let's get them into the hands of everybody coming to this workshop, that they can walk away and knowing, man, they served me well. And so we want to give everybody live on this workshop. This is just for people who are live on here. Michael's book called Streamline. He's going to unpack the systems that every church needs. And you can text the word book to 816-844-3306. You just need to open up your phone, open up a text message, put that number in and type the word book. We'll be following up with you tomorrow on that, but you need to answer the questions as they kind of come back, so we know where to connect with you to get the book to you. But we want everybody walking away. We had our entire team, Church Marketing University, read this book. And I'm telling you, every day, our team was just blowing up my phones like, oh my gosh, have you read chapter 3? Like, this is incredible. Have you read chapter, like, where are you at? And so, Michael, real quick, share maybe the reason why you wrote the book. Okay, give us a little glimpse into kind of what to expect inside the book here. Is Michael maybe frozen?
He might be frozen. Let me say this. Here's how much we believe in this book, right? Like we've read this book. We know Michael. We know how powerful this book is, and we believe in it so much that we're buying it for you and shipping it to you. Right? Like that's how there's a lot of people in this webinar right now, right? Like literally our heart in this workshop is we want to help you as much as possible. And we believe this book is it. So we're actually going to buy this book for you, pay for the shipping, and we're going to send it to you. All you have to do is just text the word book to 816-844-3306, and we'll send you a copy.
We may have broken our webinar software a little bit. We'll get Michael back in here momentarily. And so we're working on it. If you see me looking over here, so we're looking at some text messages here, but maybe you guys just broke it. Also, keep in mind, you can't just put the word book in the chat. That won't get you the book. You need to text the word book, so we have a way to follow up with you, get your shipping address, all that sort of fun stuff. And so we want that to be a blessing for you there. So the word book in the chat there. John Eric, if you would also shoot maybe Michael a text, his link to join as a presenter there to make sure that he has it. So he's trying to jump back in here. Okay. Hey, today we've got a great plan for you in place. We're going to really focus in next on working on your fall visitor plan. Like, how do we get your plan dialed in for this fall? How do you get to those 10 to 15 new families? We're going to take a little bit of time to show you a done for you option for those of you like, man, I love this plan. What would it look like if the plan was actually done for me? And then, man, we're going to spend after that question to answer any questions that you have. Again, you can put those in the chat, use the Q&A feature. One of the things just to keep in mind, for the first 1,000 people, you can use the chat and the Q&A feature. If you are one that is a late arrival, you will need to text your questions to 816-844-3306. You could take a screenshot right there, the number on the screen, so you have that later. Keep in mind, with this many people jumping on here, this is a no drama zone. We are here because we all believe that Jesus is the answer. And our team wants to just make sure right up front that you know this. Pastors are our heroes. So there's no back talking. We encourage, we want to keep the focus on the main things. And so that's kind of the ground rules for the workshop today. So as we're jumping in, we want to ask you guys this. How are you feeling about your fall visitor plan? There will be a poll that'll pop up on your screen there. Do you feel good about your fall visitor plan? And be gut level honest, okay? We're all honest. This is an anonymous poll. How do you feel about your fall visitor plan as it sits right now? We're praying everybody is going to be loving it. But how do you feel about your fall visitor plan? You put that in the poll. And so we want to see that there. Okay, do you feel good? Okay, it looks like almost all of us are saying we don't feel good yet about our visitor plan. So like all of you guys, I love the honesty here. Keep voting in the poll there. Do you feel good about your fall visitor plan? We want to help. And so that's going to be the plan today. Michael is restarting his computer and trying to restart and log back in. You guys are crazy. I think we may have broken the software at the moment. So you can see there, guys, the results of the polls. I love it. A lot of you guys in the chat. Visitor plan, what's that? Seems like we don't have one yet. Okay, not on our radar. Okay, a lot of you guys in the chat just being gut level honest. Well, that is what we're going to be solving today. Okay, so we're gonna solve that, and so we really want this to be interactive here. Okay, Michael's jumping back in. All right, Michael, you are back. Sorry, guys, we've got so many people jumping on here. I think we're breaking the system just a little bit. So Michael, we just got done taking the poll, and about 90% of the crew here says, "Hey, please help us. Let's jump into this. Let's help get our visitor plan in place." And so it's time, I think, to jump in here. So Michael, perfect timing because we want to set you up here. Just talk about like kind of where we're at, and then we can talk about, man, let's get this plan in place.
Yeah, thanks guys. Sorry for the technical hassles. Always fun. But one of the reasons, Ryan, Chris, one of the reasons I know we started Churchfield a long time ago, is very similar to you guys, is we see this trend. There's a lot of new churches that get started. Love seeing all the church planning comments go by. There's a lot of new churches, but then there's also churches that close down. And again, not to like show up and throw sadness on the parade today. We're gonna talk about a lot of positive things, but I don't. This resonates with me when I literally drive by a church building. And I know the church is more than a building, but when I drive by a building that used to be a church that's something else. In fact, I grabbed a few pictures from some. This is a church in Charleston, which is such a cool city. I don't know if we have any Charleston people here today. Really cool city, but this used to be a church, and now it's a Dollar Tree, which has got to be kind of sad for people that maybe used to go to that church or whatever. Probably cool Dollar Tree to shop in, get some good deals there. But right, there's a little bit of sad like that. I see some people in the chat talking about how many empty church buildings there are. This is a church in my city. Back when the Olympics came to town, they bought this building, this church building. Used to be 3,000 people going to church there. They bought it and converted it into a concert hall. I've never been to a church service there, but I did go to a concert there once. And it's weird, like when you walk into this beautiful stained glass, and then there's like a bar in the back. It's like super weird, but also sad to see these kind of things. Here's a church in New York that was converted to a fraternity a few years back before COVID. I think about when I see this, I think about the people that literally gave money to this church. I'm like, can't imagine they wanted, like, hey, we hope this becomes a fraternity. Here's another one in Atlanta that's now home to an atheist society, literally the exact opposite, right? So like the exact opposite building use. Super wild. I've driven past that one. This one, I mean, I'm not in favor of churches closing down, but I guess if it is going to close down, laser tag, at least the youth ministry could like still go there, right? It's probably very similar to the youth ministry event, right? But these are sad, and so I don't know if you've seen this in your town. I see some people talking in the chat like, hey, there's a church in Pittsburgh that's now a brewery. That's a hard word for me to say. A lot of shutdown in Edinburgh. We see this worldwide, not just in the United States, just worldwide, which is a sad situation. And I know that's like maybe you're not on the verge of that, but I was thinking about this, Ryan, yesterday. I was walking around in Boulder. Maybe the churches on our call today are not going to be closing down this week. Like that's not on the immediate radar. But I wonder if there's some that are struggling or some that are stuck. But Ryan, I thought of another word even yesterday because somebody was describing what happens when there's no new life, that things get stale.
Yeah.
And so that's another word I was thinking about, that I just wonder in a lot of our churches, maybe you still have your building and maybe there's still services happening, but without new people coming in, things can just kind of feel a little stale or maybe struggling, maybe stuck. And so that's the kind of church that we want to help, because I think that's what's at stake for today. When you look around your community and you see people in need, you see ministry opportunities, and you're a pastor or you're we're working in youth ministry, you're on staff, maybe you're a volunteer, like literally your church is important to you. And you're like, hey, this should be important to other people. And that's kind of what we want to talk about. Chris, you shared this Bible verse not too long ago, because I think there's a spiritual compulsion that we don't want our churches to be stuck or stale or any of those things. You were talking about this, and I just thought this was really encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of my favorite verses in the Bible, and I think just like as all of us in ministry, right, we understand this, right? To go out to the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be full. I think it's easy sometimes, right? Like, man, we're praying, God, fill up our church, bring people in, right? And we have such a heart, right? And it's not for like a lack of prayer or trying or caring that we're bringing people in, right? But figuring out how do we go out to the highways and hedges, right? And compel them to come in, right? That word compel, that action word. How do we compel them to come in, that his house may be full, right? And I think that's the important part. And that's ultimately the reason that we're here, right? Is, man, like, let's make heaven crowded, right? It's the reason we're in ministry. It's the reason we're here on this workshop today. And that's what we want to focus on today. All right. So, man, let's kick this off with prayer. Dive in, we're going to pray, and then we're going to kind of jump into some strategy here. God, I thank you for every single pastor and church leader on this workshop today. God, I thank you that every with the sole of their foot treads there on land that you've given them. God, that no weapon formed against them shall prosper, but every single thing they put their hand to will. God, I thank you that you would bring in resources and volunteers and new families. God, I pray that you would breathe life into churches that have been stale and stagnant or plateaued. God, I pray for every single church who's discouraged or feels stuck right now. God, we speak life into that situation in the name of Jesus. God, I pray that you would encourage them here today. God, and then you would help every single one of us, God, to be able to go out to the highways and hedges, compel them to come in so that we can make heaven crowded. God, I pray that you would do exceedingly abundantly above and beyond all that we can ask or imagine today in this workshop. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, so let's dive in, right, man? Without faith, without works, faith is dead. Let's dive in and actually talk about some of the things that we can do. Jim, I saw that you asked in the chat here a little while ago, hey, what if your church is invisible? What can you do? That's exactly what we're going to talk about here today, right? So let's take action. Let's dive in and talk about if you feel like you're the best kept secret in town, you feel like you're invisible. Let's talk about how to get the word out.
Hey, as we're jumping in here, guys, we want to know, again, what is your biggest challenge? This helps us know who we're talking to, how we can help, how we can go deeper in maybe certain areas. So there is going to be a poll that you can vote. We want to let you guys, give a second to vote there. Let us know your biggest challenge. We'd love to see that here. So if the team would throw that. Okay, it's Michael, take a look at some of the, so that's fun.
My favorite answer.
So
probably no surprise, but all of these is in the lead, because that's what we want, right? We want new people to come to our church. And when we were thinking about this and putting this workshop together, I know just from even our church field churches that we've worked with over the last several years, the problem, I'm going to generalize here, the problem probably is not your sermons, programs, and ministries. From the types of churches that show up to a training like this, I would guess. I think you guys would agree too. Like there's going to be some good sermons preached this coming Sunday. Right? If you're a lead pastor, you've been praying through that and studying, getting that message. You probably got really good programs. Maybe you have a good kids ministry program. Maybe you offer a recovery ministry. I mean, like there's really good programs and ministries that are happening. So the problem, I think, one of the things we try to help churches do is, I know there's things you want to tweak and you want to improve, but there's good stuff happening. I think the problem is maybe there's not enough people that are aware of these things, right? They're not a part of it. Like good stuff's happening at the church. I just wish more people were here to participate in it, to benefit from it, to kind of experience God through that. And so the kind of question that we ask is, how do we maximize the good stuff that's happening in your church? It's already going on. You're already spending money on it. It's your job. Like it's already happening. How do we maximize that? And I think one of the things that I gravitate to is this idea of what a system is. And James Clear, one of my favorite writers, he said this quote: "You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." And I know in church ministry, even when I was pastoring, it's like we'd always have goals. How many people are we going to have on Easter? How many? What's VBS going to be like? Or we always have, and we have passion. You're called to do ministry. You have this passion to reach people, and you want to do it. And it's usually not a want to problem. I mean, there's probably nobody here today that has I don't want to reach 10 to 15 new families this fall. No one's going to say that. It's often a system problem. And so a system is really anytime things happen on a regular, repeated basis, you have the opportunity to create a system. You don't need more stuff to try, right? You're not idea broke. You actually need a system. So anytime things happen on a regular basis, and then we could talk about volunteers, we could talk about discipleship, we could talk about growth. There's all these different areas where we could apply a system to. Today we're going to kind of apply this, kind of to the visitor angle, to the visitor plan. And Chris, Ryan, I think as we've talked over the last months, years, as long as we've known each other, really, like there's a passion around this of like, how can we get more people to come to the church? And there is a systematic approach. I think you should pray for that. I think you should hope for that. All the things I think you should prepare for. But is there a system that you can put in place that would help that happen? And I think that's something that we could talk about today.
Yeah, let's do it. So if you guys are ready to dive in, and just say system in the chat or give it an emoji, and let's do that. So we also we put together a workbook for you guys. You'll see that link in the chat. You can also go to churchfuel.com/workbook. If for some reason you can't chat or the download, I think we're breaking Webinar Jam software at the moment. There should be a link where you guys can download that workbook. We want you guys to take the workbook, get your whiteboard, get the team together, get your notepad. Chris is going to jump on the whiteboard here in a second. It's my absolute favorite part of the workshop. And you guys are going to love it, but we are putting in the work now. We are actually building your system, and we want you guys to follow along. So that's really, really important. This isn't just more ideas. This is let's get your visitor plan in place. Let's start building that system. This is very important, that insanely practical. This is not, hey, let's just shoot around ideas. This is let's get something done. And so be sure you download that workbook. The team will put the link in the chat and pin that there to be helpful for you guys. That's what it looks like. So that's what we're going to be covering. We've left blanks for you guys to actually start filling in that. If you've got a whiteboard, if anybody watching with their team, give a shout out if you have a team there. Say team in the chat. A lot of you, I love you guys, the enthusiasm there for the system. But you guys can, if you have your own whiteboard, you can get the workbook and start sketching this out on your whiteboard with Chris. So as we're jumping in there and we're working on your plan for this fall, we're going to make this super simple. So this is one of my absolute favorite frameworks that we want to teach pastors now. It's so simple. And as we're planning to get 10 to 15 new families to your church, we're starting with this idea of 3 types of searchers. This is just to make it very, very simple. And you guys are going to love this. We've done this workshop now with about 1,000 pastors. This is one of the best things that they say, oh man, this would just help me a way to think about it. So the 3 types of searchers, we've got those blanks there that you can fill this in. So the first fill in is people who are searching for a church. Now, I know you may say, well, nobody's looking for a church near me. Trust me, there's a whole group of people in your community that are already looking for you and can't find you, okay? Check this out, guys. We had our Google team pull this, and they said, Brian, in the United States alone, there are 1 million searches on Google a month of people looking for their church. Pause and think about that. There's 1 million people in the United States who are going to Google and who are looking for a church. So as we're putting together your fall visitor plan, the first thing we're going to say is, how do we reach those who are already searching for you? Does that make sense? Like, that's the easiest people. They're already going and trying to find you, but there's something that's keeping them from finding you. So we got to solve that. So that's number 1, is people who are searching for a church. The second group of people, and this is especially big in the fall, especially big for those who are trying to reach young families. Do we have anybody here that's like, man, we're trying our best to reach young families? This is huge if we're going to impact culture the way that we want to. And so this is people who are searching for something to do. This fall is a big time as kids are going back to school. You've got the fall time, which they're looking for something to do. Young families are looking for something safe to do around Halloween. Going into Christmas, they're looking for ways to make meaningful memories. And so they're looking for something to do. So the first category, people who are searching for hope. Second category that you're going to reach this fall, people who are searching for something to do. The third category are people who are searching for hope. Okay, and this is like everybody. Okay, this is all of humanity, because we know this is that we until we find why God created us and ultimately the ultimate reason for life and meaning in Jesus, we are searching for hope, right? So like this is all of the people in our community, and especially when they're going through a storm, and you know everybody is either going through a storm or about to go through a storm. People are searching for hope. And so in your fall plan, we want to make sure that you are showing up and reaching people who are searching for hope. They are going through it. I'm telling you, in a mile around your church, there are people who are absolutely going through a storm, and they need you. They need Jesus. They need to be plugged into a Jesus-centered, life-giving community, which you have. You've already got that stuff Michael talked about going on. You need to have a plan to reach those people who are searching for hope. So this is the 3 types of searchers. And here's what's cool. Guess what, guys? It's not rocket science. There are 3 types of invites. And so what we're going to do now is Chris, guys, and this is my absolute favorite part of the workshop. Chris is going to jump up on the board and kind of show you how we take the 3 types of invites so that we can reach the 3 types of searchers. So this is really cool, guys. Check this out here. So hold on, give me a second, guys. If you guys are fired up, ready to go, let us know in the chat. I'm gonna stop the slide so we can maximize Chris here. All right, Chris, let's roll.
Okay, so here's what we should. We just talked about those three types of searchers, right? You got people that are searching for a church, you got people who are searching for something to do, and you have people that are searching for hope. Right now, when we did that poll, the majority of you guys, besides all of these, right, that were the problem. The majority of you guys are saying we can't get our people to invite, right? So there's actually three types of invites that match up with these three types of searchers, right? So here's what we got on the whiteboard here, right? Here's your fall, right? So from August through the end of the year, here's what we got. And the first thing that you want to do, the first types of invite is an everyday invite. Okay, so everyday invites. So you have to have something that's out there every single day inviting people to church, right? And here's what's cool is the way that this works is these everyday invites are going to reach all of the people who are searching for a church. Okay, so that first type of searcher, those people searching for church, over 1 million people a month are searching Google for your church, right? So you need to show up there and be inviting people every single day, right? So the everyday invites are going to be reaching the people who are searching for a church, right? And that's just going every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll show you how to do that in just a second. All right, the second thing that you want to do is what about those people that are searching for something to do? All right, I've got 2 young kids. I've got an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. We're looking for this all the time, right? Michael said in the chat a second ago that they used to go and Google free family activities. We're constantly looking for stuff to do, like in our community and around the city, right? So the best way to reach those people who are searching for something to do, especially those young families who are searching for stuff to do, is you want to do momentum invites. And again, we'll break these down and show you guys exactly what this looks like, right? You've got the everyday invites for people that are searching for a church, and then we've got momentum invites for people that are looking for stuff to do. And then here's how this works. These momentum invites, right, are actually built around the natural momentum points that come in the fall that basically every church goes through, right? So you look at like this first one, right? This is kind of back to school, right? I'm sure you guys experience the same thing, right? In our church, we have, right, kind of dips down in the summer. And then with back to school, as people kind of get back from vacation, they start going back to school again. They get back into a routine. What happens is those families start flooding back to church, right? We don't even have to do anything. They just start coming back. People are finding a routine again, right? We're getting back into soccer practice, back into gymnastics, right? And you're making sure, hey, okay, we go to the early service, we go to the late service, right? We're getting everything back in. That's how families are. What you can do is this right here, promoting that back to school and that actual momentum and inviting people out to maybe a back to school bash or a back to school rally, right? That's going to take advantage of a natural momentum point. You're inviting people out for people that are looking for stuff to do to your momentum, right? So we'll talk about here the big three in just a second, right? But you've got like your back to school, right? This is your fall festival, and then Christmas, right? Every single church is kind of going through this whole thing, right? You might have a harvest party or trunk or treat or do something else, right? But everybody's that back to school, fall festival, and Christmas. And so you are inviting people to these natural momentum points, right, throughout the fall. And then here's the cool thing. This last one is one of my personal favorites, and I feel like this is the biggest opportunity where a lot of churches are missing out. Okay, you've got your everyday invites, momentum invites. This last one are ministry invites. Okay, and the cool thing about ministry invites, these are going to reach all those people who are searching for hope. That's where your ministry invites are going to reach. Now, here's the interesting thing, right? Throughout the course of the year, if you look at the calendar, the entire year can be divided up into momentum seasons and ministry seasons, right? So what are the natural momentum seasons? You got back to school, you got fall festival, you got Christmas, right? Beginning of the school year, right? Kind of a clean slate. People start coming back to church. They make New Year's resolutions. They come back to church there in January, right? And then you've got the natural momentum of Easter and then Mother's Day. But all those times in between there are ministry seasons. A lot of times we look at those like, okay, well, our attendance might dip down, right? It's going to dip down. People talk about the summer slump. Well, that's actually just a ministry season all throughout there. And what we found is that if you go all in during those ministry seasons, what happens is you're sowing seed during the ministry seasons, right? And you're actually going to reap the harvest in the momentum seasons. So if you do ministry seasons right and go hard in the paint, you're going all in during the ministry seasons. What happens is ministry seasons multiply momentum seasons, right? And so we'll talk about this here in just a second. I'll show you how we did this at my church. But what happens, these ministry seasons, our favorite way to do this is with prayer ads, right? So like if you're inviting people every single day, people that are searching for a church, right? And then you have a system for momentum invites and actually inviting people out to those momentum points and the different events that you're doing at your church, those types of things. And then in between, where there's a little bit of overlap, you're doing ministry invites, right? You're praying for people doing ministry at scale. What happens now is all three of these combine and they compound. And what happens is these three types of invites actually form a funnel that are going to lead people to your church. Okay, and so we talked about, hey, this plan that we're showing you guys here today is specifically designed to bring in 10 to 15 new families. That's not just hyperbole. Here's what that looks like, right? So if this plan here, if all this does, right, as you go in and you set up everyday invites for your church, you set up momentum invites and ministry invites, if all this does is each one of these just brings in one new family to your church a month, right? So you've got everyday invites, and it brings in just one new family that decides to visit each month, right? And then you've got your momentum invites, right? And that brings in one new family a month to come visit and check things out, right? And then you've got your ministry invites, right? And you're praying for people, and that brings in just one new family a month. What happens is now you've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 new families that come check out your church, right, throughout the course of the fall. So it's not just hyperbole. We're actually going to show you, right, this framework. So we're gonna dive and show you guys some examples of our favorite ways to set up everyday invites, momentum invites, and ministry invites. So let's jump back into the slide deck here and kind of walk you guys through that.
Man, that's always one of my favorite parts of this. I love Chris on the whiteboard. Everybody's like, more whiteboard. So let's jump into kind of just how to unpack this. And so the first one you guys saw there, everyday invites. Man, this is huge. People who are already searching for a church, you need to be showing up every single day. This is a huge opportunity, and this may be one of the biggest ones where most churches are missing this opportunity. And so if you're trying to get those 10 to 15 families, lean in here and listen, because this is where we see, working with thousands of churches, most of our churches are missing this one. This is a really big one. And so everyday invites, our philosophy, because we are passionate about your church reaching people. Like, you should be reaching people every single week. That's our hope and dream, is every single week you have visitors walking through your door and you have the opportunity to share the good news, right? And for our churches, we are saying, hey, we need to always be inviting. Goes back to that chapter from Luke. Go out and compel, and go out, keep going out, keep compelling, always be inviting every single hour of every single day. And this is what really hit home for me. Let me share this graphic. So this is really practically what this looks like. So people are going to Google. We don't even call it to search. They're going to Google. Google is now search. Over 1 million people in the US every single month, right? They're going to Google. They're typing in, looking for a church. We want you to be inviting them where they're searching, and then getting really showing up new Sunday visitors. That's how everyday invite works. Searching, they find you, you invite them, they show up. And this is one of the biggest ones, if you feel stuck, where you could have an opportunity to really do something massive. And I told you, this really hit home recently for me. This is my daughter here. This is a picture right when when she was first born. And I remember just those early days. If we got any parents in the house here that where you bring them home from the hospital and they just fit just tiny in your hand. And we were on a trip and looked over at Caitlin now, who's you can see there the picture side with Amy and Caitlin, and then that's her friend Miette on the end. And she's just turning into this beautiful lady. I'm like, oh my gosh, where did the time go? How in the world did she go from this little bitty baby to where she is now? And I just pause and I think, man, just every single day, she just grew a little bit, just a little bit. And it's almost like you don't even notice it until a decade goes by and you look back and you're like, where did the time go? And pastors, listen up, because this is how healthy growth at your church should work. Every day you should grow just a little bit. Just a little bit, just a little bit. And for some of you, you're missing out on the everyday piece, and you're getting the end of the year and you're like, man, we didn't really have any healthy growth that is happening on the routine, that system. Every day we don't have that piece. And so if I can encourage you guys on here with anything, it's just think through this. Okay, we need to get this solved. And so we want to ask a poll just to see if this is really maybe hitting home and is it true. Do you have a plan to invite your community to church every single day? Right now, if you didn't change, if you didn't go to this workshop and you didn't hear about this, do you have a plan in place currently You can vote there in the poll to invite your community to church every single day. Okay. Again, be honest. The polls are anonymous. And the vast majority of us, I already see the results coming in there. We would just be saying, hey, we don't have a plan. We're missing this opportunity. And if we aren't planning for it, we aren't taking action, guys, we can't just hope that this happens, okay? And so this is a huge opportunity for us. So on your whiteboard, on your notes, circle this, star this. We've got to get this piece solved because the local church is very, very important. Your mission is critical. But we need to grow a little bit every single day. Okay, so that is absolutely huge. The second one is those momentum invites. Okay, the big events. So we want you guys. Let's get into your plan. Here's what we want to say, guys. We would say for this fall in your plan, we want you to clearly kind of pick what we would call the big three. Okay, the big three. Chris already mapped it out. You got these three big natural momentum points: back to school kickoff, the fall harvest kind of time, and then Christmas. And what we want you to do, in your workbook, you'll see this. Michael, Chris, and I, and the team put some of our favorite things there. We even have a page at the end of the workbook that has a whole list from a lot of our churches. These are our suggestions of what you can do. But what we would say for you guys in your plan this fall is identify your big three. Okay, your big three. And so we want you to look through it, think through it. For some of you, you already know this piece of the puzzle is already solved. You already know what your big three are. But so go ahead and write that in, because those are the big three that you need to rally everyone in your ministry, in your church, all of the departments, all of the church, all of the congregation. You are all rallying around that one big momentum point for back to school, the one for around October, the one for December. And Michael, you are good about this. In your book, I remember this big aha. You said, the number one thing that I've learned in communication in the past 2 decades of ministry is and I don't want to spoil it, but it's don't do too much stuff. So Michael, why is it important that it's the big three is so important? Oh, Michael, you're muted. I'm sorry. There you go.
I was trying to think through what that was when you were talking. So I was like, what is that? No, for sure. Because when you're passionate about the ministry that you're doing, there's this temptation to try to have something for everyone. We need something for the kids, and we need something for the senior adults, and we need, so we have all these events, and it gets real easy to just busy up the calendar with so many things. And what I love, Chris, about when you were on the whiteboard and you had those spots for the big three, I loved how they were, in my brain, properly spaced out, right? Because you need a little bit of time to lead up to the thing, right? Because you got to communicate and promote and get your volunteers and do all that stuff. And then you need some time to follow up from it. When something happens, you actually want to be able to reach out to people and connect them. And so if you go from event to event to event to event all the time, you kind of don't have the time to follow up. So I love the placement of these. And looking through hey, what do we do in that back to school area? We don't need 5 good ideas. We need 1 great. And I think we see churches, they sometimes do the same thing every year in the same season. And I think that's great because you learn and you can kind of build up that reputation. Oh, that's the church that always does the fall festival, or that's the church with the big, that does the big candlelight service that we get. It's those things kind of build from year to year. So I know sometimes we get in Facebook groups and we get on calls like this and there's 20 ideas and you want to do them all. You don't need all the ideas. You just, maybe I like 3. You could have 2, you could have 4. 3 is a great way to, a great approach to just space out your fall and give your people something to kind of invite to.
Yeah. So guys, we want you to put in the chat, if you know this, what are your big 3? Maybe you've got a favorite one. What are your big 3? Again, the first 1,000 people can chat. For everybody else, our webinar software only allows the first 1,000, but we'd love to hear back from you using the text number there, 816-844-3306. But we want you guys filling out the plan, putting it on your whiteboard, identify so you can clearly communicate to the entire church, hey, we're going to have 3 big momentum points, and here's what they are. We're going to rally everybody around these. And so you need to get clarity on these for those momentum invites so that we can reach the people who are searching for something to do. Okay, we got every day for the people who are already searching for a church, so searching for you. We got the big 3 this fall for the people who are searching for something to do. That's a really easy one. And then that third one is ministry invites. And so, Chris, talk to us about this, because this is really big. This is huge for pastors. I know all of these are big, but this is one of our favorite ones as well.
Yeah, and this one's near and dear to my heart, right? So when we're talking about ministry seasons, right, what we shared on the whiteboard, right? Ministry seasons multiply momentum seasons. As you're sowing seed excuse me, as you're sowing seed during those ministry seasons, what happens is in the momentum seasons, you start walking in the harvest of the seeds that you've been planting, right?
That's
So that's why this is so important. So what we found, the best way to do ministry invites is with prayer ads. Right, prayer ads is really simple. It's basically just running ads on Facebook and Instagram, asking people how you can pray for them. Okay, just ads and say, hey, my name is Pastor Chris. How can I pray for you? Right. So here's the first time we ran this at my church. Right. This is the ad that we ran right here. And it's literally just, hey, Tulsa, how can we pray for you? Right. Now, here's what's crazy. Like, look at the results of this. In the first month, we prayed for 549 people. Like it was insane. 540. It's not like us going out to them. They came to us and said, oh, pray for us, right? 549 people. We sent them 549 audio prayers so they could hear our voice using their name, praying for their situation. And then the crazy thing is that 86 of them plan to visit to our church. That's awesome. Right? So, and that's just the power of doing ministry invites at scale, right? So, man, Pastor Will, love this. A lot of you guys, hey, we've got, small church, we don't have a lot of resources. Man, I get it. So my friend, Pastor Will, right, his biggest challenge was trying to grow a committed core team. He only had 20 people, struggling to find ways to expand his reach in the community. Nobody knew that they were there, and they're praying about how to get the word out in such a small church. But in 5 months, that church of 20, he prayed for 1,892 people in his community and had 209 new families that planned to visit to his church. Right now, I know that sounds crazy, right? 5 months, church of 20, pray for almost 1,900 people and over 200 families that plan to visit. But look at this. So, this is actually in his account, you can see literally almost 1,900 prayer requests, 209 plan your visits. But here's what's crazy. 209 people, it's only 11% of the people that he prayed for. So it's not that crazy, right? Like if you went out and prayed for 100 people out in your community and invited them to church, it wouldn't be crazy if out of those 100, 11 of them said, yeah, I'd love to come to church, right? And that's what happened. But that's why this is so powerful, right? Here's a church of 90 that did this, 134 prayer requests and 13 new families in the first 3 weeks. We had a church of 35, right? 352 prayer requests and 42 new families that plan to visit in the first 3 months. And then this is a church of 150, right, that in 6 weeks prayed for 974 people and had 111 plan your visits, right? So it doesn't matter the size of your church. It doesn't matter the demographics of your church or your community, right? You can do this in a city, in a small town. You can do this in suburban, all over the place. But it's because this isn't marketing, this is ministry, right? So you're basically just holding up a sign saying, how can I pray for you? And all the people who want prayer are coming out of their houses to you and submitting prayer requests, and they're doing all of it online. Yeah.
Michael, you were a church planner, a lead pastor. When you hear prayer ads, sometimes I think people are like, wait, prayer and ads, come again? So real quick, what's your kind of thought as you hear that from your lead pastor lens?
Yeah, I mean, my first reaction is those are two words that you don't often hear together, right? But when you think about it, I see ads on Instagram all the time. I mean, it's like literally, but it's for stupid stuff. And so, it's just for stupid stuff that I don't need and nor should I be interested in. But the idea of a church like showing up in that space, right? Like literally, interrupting somebody's scrolling. You think about the people, and you can target them locally, right, Chris? You can say, hey, you're not showing these prayer ads to people that are like 4 states over. Like you can literally say, for people near me, I'd love for them to see, a picture, and it's like, do you need somebody to pray for? And then instantly be like, what a positive use of social media, rather than just more noise that's out there, but just showing up. And I just think, like, what church? I was talking to somebody yesterday, Ryan, and they were talking about like how people in their church didn't know how to, like, what do we do if people ask for prayer? And I was like on via text or online, like, what do we do? And I'm like, I don't know. What would you do if they walked into your church building? Like, you would just pray for them. So it's not overly complicated. That's what I love about this. It's just using something that people do every day to just say, how can I pray for you? And you can get volunteers to do those prayers. If you have staff, you can do them. Like, this isn't overly complicated. It's just such a, I don't know, to me, a redeeming use of technology. Where something's kind of usually a waste of time. It's like you're going, and here's people saying, I'd love for you to pray for me. So again, odd combination of words. Maybe you're thinking that, like, what is a prayer ad, and how do we do it, and all that kind of stuff. And we can talk about that, but it's like, you can do this. Like, every church can do this. It's not overwhelmingly complicated.
Yeah, and let's just pause here for those who can chat. Is this resonating with you? If this like, man, what social media needs is some prayer. What my community needs is some prayer. It doesn't need more arguing, more drama, more like, well, yeah. And so if this is resonating for you, man, what if we all, I mean, we've got thousands of church leaders on here now. What if we all committed to do this? Just show up and bring prayer to social media and bring prayer to our community. I mean, give a shout out, give a prayer emoji, say prayer in the chat, but like, I just love this, Chris, because this is what our world needs right now.
Yeah.
We need God being invited into the situation, being invited into our communities, and then invited to come out so we can pray for people in person. And it's there's so many churches are trying to find the latest, greatest gimmick to get people on social media. And there's some helpful stuff out there, but just the simplicity of how can I pray for you is so refreshing.
And I think, hey, Ryan and Chris, I think too, somebody scrolled by in the chat. I saw this. A lot of times churches will do this just organically on their Facebook page. Like, we're here for you. We're here for you. The problem's not the right word, but when we do that, that's typically our church members that see that, which is, again, a great thing to do. What you're talking about, Chris, is literally turning that into an ad, broadening the circle. And now you're saying, hey, how can our church pray for you people in the community? Which is a great thing for a church to do. We should absolutely pray for our church members too. But when we broaden that out by turning just a post into an ad, it widens that net, it widens that circle, and it gives us the opportunity to minister to more people.
Yeah, that's exactly, and that's exactly what we did at my church when we did it, right? Like, we just dropped a pin on the church, right? And then we said, hey, Facebook, show this to everyone who lives within 15 miles of our church, right? And then Facebook shows that to everybody out there. So that's the difference. You nailed it, Michael, right? Between just putting it on the Facebook page and then actually creating an ad that shows to everyone within driving distance of the church.
Is this helpful for you guys? Is this refreshing? Because I know a lot of times when we say you will go to a workshop like this and like, oh, they taught us a whole bunch of new ideas that we don't know how to do. I'm hoping this is refreshing. Like, oh, they told us we should pray. Like, we can pray. We just need a way to get that out to people within transportation distance of our church. So if that's refreshing, it's like, you don't need to learn the latest, greatest. This is not a new, thing that you gotta, like, you can pray. You just need a bridge between you and your community. And that's what is so powerful about this. So here's another one here that just testifying to what God is doing here.
Well, yeah, and this is important, right? Because it's like understanding the ministry of what's happening here, right? So this is, Jeannie said, hey, want to share a couple of testimonies. We enabled the prayer ads around 2 p.m. last Sunday. In this short time, one person gave their life to Jesus, right? Imagine people are getting saved through social media, right? Because you're using it for ministry. Said, and last night, one of our prayer team members was awakened and read a prayer from someone who was going to commit suicide. She responded to the person right on Facebook and ended up getting them the suicide hotline, right? Like, the Lord literally used that ad and that person to be able to bring hope into that situation. And that's why that's why it's so important.
And let me ask you guys a question, because a lot of times you will hear like, hey, yeah, fall visitor plan. And then a lot of us will be like, okay, will this work? And my question to pastors is, okay, question the foundation, does prayer work? And I'll just pause awkwardly until you guys, does it work? Does prayer work? And so for this plan, it's based on prayer. It's based on, if prayer works, then offering to pray for people. So I want you guys to see how foundational and how simple this is. This isn't something that's foreign to us as believers. This is at the core of what we believe, is that what people need is God invited into their situation. And so if prayer works, man, why not do it? Why not that be the one of the best evangelistic opportunities and tools that we have? And so, amen, yes, absolutely works. Nathan, it works. But not always as expected. That is so true. But the goal is, man, we just need to show up, right? Our communities need to know that we are still here, right? That we are still here. God is still here. He wants to do big things, and just offering people to pray is just such a simple way. Michael, this is really bringing it back around to this system idea.
Yeah.
And so walk us through this, how these all start to work together.
Yeah, so I mean, when you guys were talking through and on the whiteboard, I love that whiteboard too, by the way. You got the everyday ads, which is kind of the Google showing up for the people that are searching for church near me. That's happening. The momentum ads were the events, right? The big three, like helping, promote those big three. And then the ministry ads, this prayer idea, hey, our church is here to pray for you. I think that all three work together. And so if you don't do the everyday piece, right? So like if you don't have in the middle of the night when people are Googling, do they find your church? If that's missing, and for a lot of churches, I think that piece is missing. When we planted a church, that was for sure missing. If you Google, churches in city or whatever, and you're not showing up, that's missing, right? And so without that, there's this risk that we're always trying to look for the next big event, and that we over busy our schedule, or we look for some like secret strategy, silver bullet strategy. You need that every day, that everyday growth. I think that picture you showed, Ryan, was so appropriate, right? That every day, middle of the night, it's just happening all the time. It's the football team that just gets 4 yards when they run the ball. That's it, right? Not going to be on the highlights. It's just every day. You should have that, because without it, I think we're always looking for a silver bullet that doesn't work. But then maybe you have that, and then you do the ministry piece, but you're missing the events, right? Events are the best thing, in my opinion, if you don't do too many, to create a culture of inviting. Because when you remember that people are like, I need something to do this weekend. I need something to do with my kids. Is there a summer camp that my kids could go to? Like, we need to be showing up in those conversations. And those are very good opportunities to teach your people to invite.
Yep.
And that lead up phase, remember I was talking about how you time to lead up to it and follow up? The lead up phase is when you go to your people and you say, hey, church, the reason we're doing this trunk or treat is not just so you have something to do. It's so that you can invite your friends and your neighbors and your coworkers. And maybe it's hard for you to share your faith right now. And maybe you're not ready to invite them to church yet, but you can invite them to this thing, right? This is an easier invite. And so these momentum things is what helps create a culture of inviting. And so that to me is a huge one. And then the third one, I love the prayer ad stuff, Chris. It's just simple. I saw somebody in the chat like, this is so simple. I don't know why we haven't done it. It's intuitive, right? There's something intuitive, like, hey, we should be praying for people. So if we leave that piece out, I think we lose a lot of opportunities for just ministry along the way, just to create conversations, to create people. And we talked about being stale, not having progress, right? If there's not those conversations breathe life into people. Yeah. Like, imagine, pastor, like somebody walks up into the lobby and they're volunteer and they're connected and doing these prayers, and they walk up to you and they say, hey, pastor, I got to pray for 3 people this week. Like, I recorded the prayer and I sent it to them. That's life-giving, not just to the person who's being prayed for, but even for the people doing it on the other end. And so we have a great way to do 4 parts. So Ryan, I think they all do 3 work together. Like, if there's like a triangle, right? There are 3 sides of the triangle, and they all do help each other. They feed off each other. The key really is all 3. One, each type makes the other better. And on the everyday piece, like when your church organizationally is working hard to show up in these places, I think it inspires your congregants to invite. And then the more people, like, it just goes back and forth, and it really does make each other better. So I think the key is all 3, having all 3 of these.
Yeah, that's so good, guys. And so far, Chris, we've covered so far. I know we've covered a lot, but this just to recap, so you guys can be like, I know we're going quickly here, but we've covered a lot so far.
Yeah, we covered a lot. I mean, we gave you guys the workshop workbook. We showed you guys what those 3 different types of invites look like and everything, right? Identifying those momentum seasons versus ministry seasons. We talked about the 3 types of searchers, right? People that are searching for a church, people that are searching for something to do, right? The events, and people that are searching for hope. And then the 3 types of invites that line up with that: the everyday invites, momentum invites, ministry invites. The big 3 key momentum points of, like back to school, fall festival, and Christmas. And then we talked about ministry seasons and how ministry seasons multiply momentum seasons. And then talk about how prayer ads can reach new families and spread hope through your community.
So, guys, has this been helpful so far? So if this has been helpful so far, man, throw a yes in the chat. I hope you feel this, man. Pastors are our heroes. We want to serve the local church well. We want you walking away with, man, how can we help? How can we give you guys ideas? How can we equip you? How can we give you, just leave here encouraged and fired up and ready to go? And so that is a big goal of our workshop. And I said, yes. Like, blow up the chat. Yes. Okay. Yes. So here's what I'd ask. Would it be okay if we showed you what it looks like if our team would set this plan up for you and run it for your church? Because we get this question all the time. We all started out as like, we would create online courses. They'd be like, yeah, I love that. Go through that. We want to give that to you. We want to equip you. We want to give you a book and do everything that we possibly can in our time together today. But would it be okay if we're like, okay, what would this look like if your team would actually just run this for us? Because that all sounds amazing, but like, man, what would even be more amazing if this was done for me, if that was even an option on the table? Man, I would love to do that. So, man, I'm seeing a lot of people. Mark, yes. Gene, yes. Gilbert, yes. Tammy, yes. Wayne, yes. Okay, so if you guys are ready, again, one more, yes, okay. And just keep in mind too, we're gonna go into question and answer here in just a second. But for those of you who would want, like, okay, what would it look like for the Church Fuel team to run this for me? Who is the Church Fuel team, first off? So there's 27 pastors, coaches, and experts on the team. Team is all committed about serving the local church. We absolutely love the local church, love pastors. We currently serve 3,000 churches, and we already have 600 churches that are in this done for you approach where we're running this plan for them. And guess what, guys? Here's really, really cool. We are currently every single month spending over $1 million. You guys hear that? Over $1 million of Google's money to tell people about Jesus and invite them to one of these 600 churches. It is absolutely crazy. So the team, you see them in the background there, that's actually the team. They are world-class in what they do, and they love Jesus. And we're all committed to help churches get visitors, give you some visitor fuel. We call the Done For You service GROW. So if you've ever heard of us talk about the GROW program, that is our Done For You visitor system. Michael talked about the visitor system. We call it GROW, and it is our Done For You approach. And here's what happened. When a church jumps into GROW, the very first thing that our team does, we kick into gear and we secure your church $120,000 of Google's money in their ad grant. Okay, it's nuts. That's the very first thing we do. Let's go use Google's money to now give you a local missions budget. It's absolutely incredible. Our team is fantastic at this. We get you that money and we get working right away. Then our team uses Google's money. Can I get an amen? Like, let's use somebody else's money to set up that plan. Your everyday invites, your momentum invites, your ministry invites. We then set up your Google ad campaigns. We run, the important word there is we run these campaigns and we keep improving your campaigns. We set up your Google ad campaigns, Google pays for it, we run it, and we monitor your campaigns. And that is the core of GROW. And that's what we call our automatic invite system. Would anybody like an automatic? You're like, man, that sounds amazing. Those everyday automatic, somebody else using Google's money to bring people to your church. Every church needs an automatic invite system. We firmly believe that. And so then what we do is like, okay, let's do this to the max. Let's max this out. Let's give you a visitor fuel. Those momentum invites, we max out your momentum invites with plug and play Facebook and Instagram campaigns. Chris is the best in the world at this. We show you exactly what to do on Facebook and Instagram around those big 3 momentum points, and all year round. That is all a part of the GROW program. And then we do those ministry invites on top of that with you. You get the entire prayer ad system. So Chris has done this. I think with how many churches have you done this with?
We've done, I think, just over 1,000 now.
And you've prayed for over 200,000 people in those churches?
Over 200,000 prayer requests. We've got over 20,000 families that have planned to visit to the churches and just.
So this isn't like some idea. This is a proven system to do this. So for those of you who are like, man, the prayer ad sounds awesome. I would love to ride with the guy who created them, invented them, pioneered them, and has helped churches pray for over 200,000 people. That's what GROW is. And so you guys saw it up on the whiteboard. That is literally GROW done for you. Okay, if you're visual like me, that is what GROW is. It is a visitor funnel that gets you a steady stream of visitors to your church. So it is our top tier service, specifically designed for churches who want to partner together to reach as many people as possible. It's $397 a month. You can save even more if you do the annual option. About 20% of our GROW churches choose that annual option to save even more. And the team will drop a opportunity there to go and grab one of these limited spots. You go to churchfuel.com/order if you would like to jump in and get one of these done for you plans in place. So that's churchfuel.com/order. The team will put that in the chat to make it super simple. And you can jump into the GROW program. Again, it's $397 a month. It's $333 a month if you pay that annually. And then you will want to go to churchfuel.com/order if you like, man, I love this plan. I absolutely love the done for you option even more. churchfuel.com/order there. Now, the one thing I need to make you aware of is this is our top tier plan. It's high quality. It's high touch. Our team is working and running these ads. So this isn't just like an online course. This is a team of people who are helping you solve the new people problem. So we have the capacity, we have 200 spots set aside for the churches at this workshop. Okay, so this is for the people who would say, yep, I want the done for you. I want that team to become my team. And then we really resonate with this, and let's go. Let's like max this out. So again, it is our top tier program for the churches that resonate with this. We have 200 spots. That's what we feel confident saying, man, we can deliver a high quality, incredible system for your church. So that's what Grow is. Again, churchfuel.com/order is where you can jump in and grab one of those spots. Those spots tend to go pretty quick. Last time we opened this up in January, I think on the first day alone, we had 175 churches jump in and grab one of those spots. Again, we only open up Grow once or twice a year. Once those spots are gone, we are all in helping those churches this fall, and we open up Grow next year. So if you're like, hey, I'm interested in the done for you approach, this is the time to jump in and get started. And so, Michael, I want you from a lead pastor's perspective to maybe talk to some of our senior pastors. You've been in that role before. Kind of how would you evaluate Grow as a lead pastor?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I see the chat going by, and again, I know when I hear things like this is a service, not like this is, you think about this, you have that picture of all the people. I think about the 27 people that literally is their job. It's their full-time job to do all this. And so, when I see things that have price tags and maybe I think they're expensive, I always like to know why they're expensive. Like why is that so expensive? And it's because there's a lot of people doing this. But here's what I would say, because I've been a church planter where literally we had no budget. The budget was my bank account. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I get it. I totally get it. And so a lot of what you guys talked about, Ryan and Chris, I do think there's a lot that a pastor can do. Like, you can take the ideas from this. You can go post on Facebook and you can run a Facebook ad for $10 if you want. You can go and apply for the Google grant. It's going to take work. But if you're willing to work, you can do almost everything that we talked about today. Like, you don't. I know this sounds weird, but like you can do this on your own. So you can take action. You find a piece of it that you can do. You move it forward. You recruit some volunteers to help do this. Like, you can do all those things. You can build the system, right? You can get a coach to show you along the way. And Ryan, we were talking yesterday on the phone. Like, we have some courses and we have some resources. We'll come back with some other workshops and show you how to do all this stuff. But I know I didn't have a big team. Like, there wasn't a team. Like, it was me and like 2 other people that were volunteers. Everybody, we had to have staff meeting at like 8:00 at night because everybody else had jobs. And that's the only time we could do it. So if you want a team to do it, that's when I look at it and go, hey, is it worth that investment or not? And if it's not, you do the work. Like, do the work yourself. But if you need support, you need coaching and all those things, I think these things on this slide, you can take action, you can build a system, and you can get a coach. Like, you can do all those things. I would just encourage you to say you can do all of those things. We love pastors. I think pastors are heroes. Most pastors are not famous on YouTube. They're not famous on social media. They don't have a top 10 podcast. Like, you're literally serving your community. And if somebody in your community is sick or in the hospital, you might get the phone call. Like, I think that's heroic. And so we just want to come along and help maximize some of that. And so that's something that I think you can do. Ryan, we talked about, I know you've had Grow for a while, and did you say there were 600 churches in this?
600 churches right now. We're working on the Done For You system. Yep. So
that's a lot of churches that you're doing this for. and I know it takes a lot of people, and that's probably the reason for the limited spots, because you can't, like, it takes like literal human beings have to do the work. But one thing we wanted to do is, if you did decide to jump into Grow, everything that we talked about, Ryan made an announcement at the beginning that Churchmark, CMU, Grow, Church Fuel is kind of all joining forces. And so if you do jump into Grow, we want to give you a Church Fuel All Access membership, which you could get on your own if you want. So you could go to churchfuel.com and sign up for that. But if you join today, Grow, we just want to give that to you as well. And I know there's also support. I know there's hand holding through this. I see so many questions going by about all the different things. Like, literally, the team will hold your hand through all that stuff. And so we just wanted to make sure you have that as well. So you'll get all of the stuff that Chris was talking about, all that Done For You system. And then we just want to just kind of add all of Church Fuel All Access to you as well, and just put that in there. So this is the summary. I actually asked Ryan to make this slide for me because I am I am a very basic human being when it comes down to it. And I'm like, can you summarize?
I think we just lost Michael on the internet.
They work with you. I mean, if there's a complicated system, they work through it. All the invites that Chris talked about, they'll run that for you. All access coaching program, all the church fuel access for your team, and everybody on your church can like if you have deacons, elders, staff, they get logins as well. And then all the stuff that's in Church Marketing University, Ryan, there's a ton in there like that you put in there over the last year. Like literally all of this stuff is like we just kind of want to give that to you. So this was the order form again, same link you shared earlier, Ryan. I think you can scan the QR code. Man, QR codes have been like they've come back significantly for a while. But you can scan the QR code and do it from your phone, or you can go to churchfuel.com/order. And again, we'll show you how to do all this on your own if you want to, right? So you can learn from this, take that workbook, get some people together, implement on your own. But if you want somebody to do it for you, I always think like this is, again, I don't want to try to convince somebody that this is right, but it's probably cheaper than hiring somebody to do all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like people are expensive and staff can be expensive. And so I think if this thing can push some people forward, that would probably be a good thing. So that's the link, churchfuel.com/order. Yeah. Oh, this is good too, right? It's month. I saw this go by in the chat. It's month to month, so you don't have to like commit. I assume if you did the annual option that you're in for a year. If you want to go month to month, you can do that. We've done this at Church Fuel. Our Church Fuel customers, I know some of you are in the chat, have stayed for a very long time, and that's not because we're like the cable company where you're locked in, for 3 years or whatever. Like it's month to month. If it's not working for your son, changes in your church. It's not hard to cancel. But we have people love the community and love the resources. So I think that's important to know and share that.
I saw in the chat, Robert Kelly, the Google grant process and everyday invites are probably worth it alone. 100%, Robert. The nonprofit world, I've done some consulting with nonprofits. Nonprofits will pay, over $1,000 to have a grant managed for them a month. You can look around, but it's for the church and for the team that you get working with your church. Plus, Chris, why don't you talk to us a little bit more about like the impact that this could have, what we're seeing at churches. It is definitely worth it.
Yeah, I mean, again, one of the best reasons that I like this is just being able to get the word out of the church. Like here's Pastor Charles, one of the churches in our Grow program right now, right? Like posted this, said, hey, good morning, everyone. I just want to give you a quick update and praise report. We started the prayer campaign last Wednesday, about a week ago. Here's a snapshot of the results so far. 3 new families showed up on Sunday as a result of the ministry ad, and 2 of them joined the church, right? And again, like this is like we talked about at the beginning, the reason that we're here, the reason we're all in ministry, the reason we do what we do is because we want to make heaven crowded, right? And so that's one of the reasons that I think something like this, right, reaching people with ministry is so powerful. This is Pastor Antonio, the Grow program, say, hey, we just had 4 families, which is 12 people who saw the prayer ad. We prayed for them, and they reached out, and now they're going through our membership classes,
so cool,
right? Joining the church, which is cool. This is Pastor William, had a small church, right? Said that, man, in 5 weeks from Facebook alone, we've had 20 first-time guests, 8 return guests, 3 people who have received Christ, 2 people who are contemplating suicide, who got connected with preventative care, right? And then we had 558 audio prayers, right? So again, it's just that ministry and being able to reach people, and you're getting the word out, by actually doing ministry, right? And doing it at scale and helping people. So this is one of the ways I think about it. I'm very logical when I come to, so I get really excited, really passionate about stuff. But when it comes to actually like making investments in things, right? Like programs, coaches, those types of things, for me, a lot of it just comes down to like the math, right? And so we know that Grow is not for every single person, right? It's not going to be a great fit for every single church. Ryan mentioned it's kind of our top tier, right? It's the difference between like a product where it's like, hey, here's an online course you can log into, and here's a service where we're going to actually do this for you. But what I like about it, right, is you can invest $397 a month, and then you're going to get $10,000 a month from Google that will help you secure, right? And so for me, that's kind of how I looked at it. Like when we started doing this at my church, I was paying a guy $500 a month just to do the Google Ads part, right? And we did it for years. We paid a guy $500 a month just to run Google Ads because, like, on the staff, like, we had a meeting about it. I was like, okay, so we pay this guy $500 a month, and we're going to get $10,000 a month in Google Ads. So let's pay this guy forever, right? And that was just us. Obviously, that was long before Grow, so we were kind of figuring all this stuff out. But so something to kind of think through and pray through for me. You're investing $397 a month to get $10,000 a month, and then just to make sure that like there's no risk on your part, and to kind of place all the risk on our shoulders, right? We have 2 money back guarantees. The first one is a 30-day guarantee, right? This is just like you jump in, right? No questions asked for any reason or none at all. We will give you every penny back anytime within the first 30 days. So you can jump in without any risk. You can try for 30 days. You can come back, say, Michael, Chris, Ryan, I don't like the program. I hate you guys, right? Like, man, we're out. We'll give you every penny back. Right. And again, it's just, we just want to be able to serve you guys. We want you to be able to help make an informed decision by giving it a chance and actually trying it. And if it doesn't work, we'll give you every penny back. The second one that we have, again, just to kind of put the risk on our shoulders so you don't have any, is that if you run all 3 invites, right? You join the Grow program, you run everyday invites, momentum invites, and ministry invites for 12 months, and it doesn't work, meaning you don't get any new Sunday visitors, then we'll give you all of your money back that you invested into Grow, right? From that entire year, we'll give it back to you. Right. So again, all we're trying to do here is we legitimately want to serve pastors. We want to help churches, and we want to make this kind of a no risk for you to figure out if it's a good fit for your church. Right. And so what better way than actually kind of give it a try and see if it's going to be a good fit. So you have the option to get your money back. This is Jeremy. Man, I love this. Right, he said average attendance is around 26 to 30 people. Right, launched a Facebook ad last week, run about 26 to 30, and he said, "Man, I want to share this because they're talking to our Grow families, whatever." But so we've already had 9 new families plan a visit. So in 1 week, they had 9 new families plan a visit. Right, and they only have 26 to 30 in their church. So that's why it's so powerful. Is, man, like going from stuck to unstuck, right? And just reaching people and doing ministry. So this is from Norton Baptist. Hey, 29 first-time guests, 11 second-time guests, and 7 third-time guests in August. Right? Again, just reaching new families. And then I love this one from Pastor Dave. He said, "Let me testify, 20 members in 20 days. I'm not even checking the visitors." So he's not saying there was 20 visitors, but we had 20 new members to the church in 20 days, right? I went into this program skeptical, but honestly, it's worked. And which is really cool, right? We're making heaven crowded.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people in the chat, some giving some shout outs there as well. Some of our Grow churches. It's pretty cool. If you've been in Grow, I think I saw some. I got a message here texting me just the impact that Grow has had. You could give it a shout out as well. Charles here, another one. Man, Charles has just been maxing out.
Dude, this was an email he sent me last week, right? He literally emailed me and just said, "Hey, Chris, I want to share these results with you," and a screenshot of how grateful we've been for the prayer ad strategy. It's always worked in a tremendous way. I appreciate y'all. He said, "Man, we were a church plan of less than 100, and because of the Easter strategy, right, which is those momentum invites." I said, because of the Easter strategy, we had over 800 people show up to our Easter egg hunt, right? Not bad for a church of less than 100, right? And then here's the screenshot that he sent me from the prayer ad, right? They've prayed for 392 people, and they've had 136 planned visits, right? So the church of less than 100, they prayed for almost 400 people who live within driving distance of their church, and they've had 136 of them who've signed up, planned to visit their church, said, "We want to come check out church on Sunday."
I see some people jumping in there. We just made our purchase. I got a text from the team. No Limit Global Church, True Holiness Gospel Church, Zoe Family Church. I love seeing these churches because I know, like, my favorite thing is thinking, okay, this is a testimony that's about to happen. So I love when you guys jump in to Grow, because I know, like, 3 months from now, you know, the hope and the prayers, we're going to work together, and man, we're going to have baptism stories and testimonies. And so that those names of churches, you know, we pray for you guys. We serve you guys to the max. Our team kicks it into gear, work really, really hard for you guys. But then those testimonies, when they start to come in, I was like, oh, I remember when New Horizon Christian Church jumped in to Grow, and they had no clue what God had in store for them. And then now to see the testimonies start rolling in. I see Dave just jumped in there. And we are going to get to your question and answer, guys. There's some of you guys who are like, man, you don't have to answer any questions. You answered it with You set up the ads, you run those every day, you run the plan. That is the answer that I was looking for. Churchfield.com/order. We are going to get into the Q&A. We do have kind of a cool thing, a couple cool things that are unique to this workshop here. Number one is if you do need to talk to somebody, maybe your church is in a unique situation and you need to talk to somebody, you can go to churchfuel.com/talk. It is a Zoom room where our team is in there, are some of our Google teams, some of our coaches, some of our, last time we did this, we had pastors from Grow that were just in there like, hey, I'm doing this in the middle of the Bronx. If you're in the inner city, come talk to me. And hey, I'm in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. You know, if you're in the middle of nowhere, come talk to me and I'll tell you. So it was so cool to see even some of our Grow people jump into this just to talk with pastors and encourage them and answer any questions. So our team is in there. Some of our coaches could jump in there. Some of our Grow churches. If you're in Grow and you just want to encourage other churches, you could jump in there as well. So churchfield.com/talk. If you're in a unique situation and you want to talk to Sherry on our customer success team or Molly on the ads team, you can jump in there as well. It's a little bit more attention than, when you've got over 1,000 people who are on here.
Plus, they don't have to look at us anymore, Ryan.
I know, right?
Get out of here.
Right. A lot of people ask us the question, okay, this sounds amazing, but why jump in now? And I think a couple of things I just really want to clearly articulate. Number one, the mission is worth it. The harvest is right. There are people who are looking. There are people who are searching. There are people who need help. There are people who need God and need prayer. The mission is worth it. So why wait? It just sounds like, I'll do this sometime. Why wait? That's ministry opportunity that we're leaving on the table. People need to be plugged into your church. So that's the biggest reason is why do this now? Man, the automatic invite system is done for you. So for the pastors, man, I'm busy. I'm already maxed out. Perfect. You're the perfect person. It's done for you. The automatic invite system, man, will run for you. You get a team of 27 that are doing it for you. Don't wait to take advantage of that. Also, that Google grant money is not like you get back paid, right? Every month that goes by, we lose $10,000 a month in ministry opportunity that could be happening at your church. So that's this last month was 10,000. This month is 10,000. Next month. So it's man, why not take that opportunity and use it for ministry? I truly think that we're better together. So your team, we get better because you're involved. You get better because now you have a team of people who are passionate about helping your church. So why wait on that? And again, there are a limited number of spots on here. I know there's a lot of people that will go talk to their board. I would encourage you, grab one of those spots. This is not hyperbole. Churches will jump in. We've had over, I think, 10,000 churches express interest in the last month about this program. And so when we open it up and get the word out, hey, there are these new spots available, and you can go to Church Marketing University or churchfield.com/order and see how many spots are still available. But we would encourage you to grab one of those spots. And then this is, let me go to this because I wanted to, okay, we have a live special bonus. So this is pretty cool. So we have a special guest. My coach, John Eric Mosler, flew in yesterday from Orlando into Kansas City just to be a part of this, help our team, encourage us. So he is on the ground today here in Kansas City. And last night we were just dreaming, getting fired up. And he's like, man, I want to throw in something special for churches that will jump in today, either live or through midnight tonight, a church social media bonus. John Eric Mosler, if you don't know him, guys, he's been my coach since the very beginning of CMU. This guy is incredible. If you were at the church marketing conference, you've heard him do the keynotes. Chris, give them a little background about what is about to happen to them.
Yeah, so here's what I want to share. The first time I heard John Eric speak, I'm not kidding, I started bawling and I had to walk away. I literally heard him at a conference and he started speaking and I just started crying because he gets ministry and he gets social media in a way that makes it social ministry. Okay, I don't know if you guys have ever heard anyone talk like that. I'm telling you, this guy is an expert when it comes to social media. I've never heard anyone understand and be able to perfectly blend social media and ministry the way that John Eric can. It blew my mind. It made such a big impression. Ryan and I we flew down to Orlando and rented an Airbnb just to hang out with him for a couple of days, right? After that conference. So when he talked, he is the authority on social media for churches, in the church space. There's no one better who understands social media and ministry. This guy's legitimately a genius. So let me, man, John, I'll give you my seat, bro, and you can.
This is like, I'm out of here.
One of the things that we're going to do, John Eric said, hey, I will do a special live event where we will just go through all of the church's Facebook settings and we'll get that squared away. And if you guys have ever messed with those, you're just like, I don't know what I need to do here. And if you haven't figured that out, we're leaving a lot of ministry on the table. And so we're going to do that live event for people who are in Grow. So if you're already in Grow, you're going to get this. If you enroll in Grow by midnight tonight, everybody who's already in Grow, the 600 churches, or those who jump in today, you're going to get this special social media boost. What's up, friend?
What's up, buddy?
Give me a hug. Hey,
So cute.
say hello.
Hey, everybody.
Tell them maybe just a little bit about this live social bonus here.
Okay, so think of it as in this whole invite system and all of that. When you're having ads, when you're doing all that, a lot of times your Facebook page, especially when you're running those ads and you're doing all that, that becomes in a way the new front door of the church. And I am blown away at how many times I go into some of these settings and it's just one button. Because like it's always changing. It's constantly changing. In fact, if I take all the software updates across all social media, I think I did the math and it's changing every 3 minutes. So it's our job to stay on top of those things. So being a developer for Facebook and being on their alpha and beta teams, like we know these buttons and it's not about the buttons, it's about belief. And to me, it's so convicting to realize that just one button can be the difference between someone having the ability to share your post to a story for somebody else to see it. But that's turned off on them. So we thought, like, what would be the greatest impact? And so I said, hey, listen, and this is not about sales, okay? Because for me, sales is just a transfer of belief from one person to another. So any of you that like don't like that word sales, me too. But every Sunday, you are trying to transfer that belief from what's in your heart and the gospel into the heart of others. It's just the transfer of belief. And it's important to know that these guys, they believe in the local church. It's plan A and there's no plan B. And so because of that belief, what we want to do is, hey, I want to make sure that I can sit down with all the Grow churches and we'll schedule a couple of these sessions and we're just going to load up your Facebook page and we're just going to start at the top and I'm going to say, you want that turned on, that turned off, and go through those best practices just to be kind of like some social fuel that is just kind of a bonus to all these things. And it's just going to be kind of like a boost to make kind of everything going. So
yeah. So very cool, guys. Give them a shout out. It was super generous to be able to offer that. You guys, Grow churches, you guys are absolutely going to love our time together. John Eric has worked with NASA. You got a NASA shirt on, Disney, some of the biggest brands and companies out there. So for him to take some time and say, hey, let's do a live experience with our Grow churches just to make sure that you maximize the plan this fall is absolutely incredible. And so, John Eric has been coaching me for a long time. Now just really advising a lot of our team and a lot of the Grow stuff that you guys are going to experience is only getting better as we join with Church Fuel and become one family there. We've got more people looking at this. How do we improve it? And you get somebody like John Eric to say, man, I believe in this so much that I will give a big portion of my time to making sure that this is the best program for churches. It is a huge deal. And so, man, I would say thank you to you for being such a special coach in my life. I'd even say that, Michael, you've been a part of that journey for me as well. And so I've got two great coaches here, and it's so cool to see the fruit of that is the local church. We're able to serve the local church even better. So midnight tonight, jump in, guys. We're going to lock it in and get you guys a church social boost. You're going to be thankful that you did. That's going to help you. All the different ads that we run, when we run prayer ads, when we run those momentum ads and invite ads, having the right foundation in your setting, in your social media, and the right even mindset is going to be big in making sure that we do as much ministry as possible. So it's huge. Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
No, I mean, it's the, they said it up front, and we were talking to Michael. We had a quick call yesterday and called him, and I love that he said, like, you pastors, you in ministry, like, you're our heroes. And a lot of times you make sacrifices and you put in all this work because you see the world through a different lens. And at the end of the day, I want you to know it's not about programs. It's not about buttons. It's about people, not programs. It's about belief, not the buttons. And so when you start to measure your life, you measure your life by what is going to make that biggest impact. And at the end of the day, that's why I'm, it's like, hey, you could go and do this, or you could go and do that. And it's like, at the end of the day, the best place in the world for me was to sit here and say, this can move the church forward. It's because it's about people. It's about a program. It's about reaching people with a gospel that will change their life and will change heaven. So I just think that's so important. And I think it's important for you to know that that's the viewpoint and the mindset every day. Every day here.
Wake up, serve the church. How can we help? How can we make it better? How can we get a little bit better today? How can we send a little bit more people your way? And so you can know we've got an incredible team. We take this seriously, and it's not like, hey, yeah, we've got a good team. It's like, how can we consistently improve? And so we're getting coaching. I think every leader needs a great coach. If you want to grow, if you want to go to the next level, you need a great coach. The best in the world, your Michael Jordan, your Tiger Woods, you name it. I mean, those are old school athletes. They all have a great coach. You never get so good that like, oh, I don't need any coach. And so
that's why we were so excited about Michael, because I think there's that piece of like, yes, there's programs and there's curriculum and there's, but it's not about that. It's about like, how can I talk to somebody? And so for me, this idea that like, I call it just-in-time learning. It's like the Matrix. It's like you can go to CMU and I need to know Kung Fu. Boom. I need to know how to do children's ministry. Boom. But I need to talk to somebody. And that it's never about the technology. Technology just accelerates. All these tools are just so that we can help you reach people faster, and to have that coach from that church fuel side. I get really excited about that.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's this amazing team.
Yeah. And just so you guys are clear, Grow churches get access to the whole coaching program. So if you want one-on-one coaching, you also get an account rep to help you make sure you're moving forward on the automatic invite system. You get a fast pass. Like if something's going on, we want to get you connected with a coach. Michael has coaches that help with volunteers, generosity. We've got coaches that help with visitors and visitor system, and so that is huge. So, man, I've got two of my coaches on the screen here, and I would just encourage everybody on here. You need a coach, and so that's why it was important to us to say, man, let's get Grow churches access to a coach, to the coaching program, and let's make sure that if you're stuck at any point, it's not like, hey, good luck. It's like, no, you've got access. Boom, jump on, schedule a time, and let's get you unstuck. Let's move forward. That's why, again, that is why it does take resources. It takes time. We hire the best in the world, and that takes resources, and that's why it is a commitment. And for those of you who are thinking about Grow, man, it's a commitment. It's a financial investment, but it's a great program. There's no reason why you're going to get stuck, and you've got the resources to really have an incredible visitor system there.
And that's why, like, with a lot of things, it's not just, hey, it's an unlimited download and it's just a gimmick that we're going to put a counter that. No, these are real things, because we want to be able to be responsive. You have it's like you have your own mega church staff at your disposal. You have 27 people who wake up every day and say, we believe in you, and because we believe in you, we've chosen that the best way to spend our lives is by helping you spread the gospel. And so that's why it has to be limited. Because then, like, if it's just for everybody, it's for nobody. So.
Yeah, and you get the team. So like I love that you said, it's like, man, I'm kind of feel like I'm doing this alone in ministry. I get like a mega church staff now that's helping me. I get a coach, and Google will throw in a local missions budget of $120,000.
Right, which is I'm from the world. I'm the Paul before the road. Like that, generally, if you can negotiate super well, that's maybe 8% of a budget, like of a spending budget. This is under 4% of the Google grant. Like you couldn't hire a contractor to do it for less. So again, it makes sense, but it's just a matter of we're the right program for the right church who wants to reach their community.
Yep, love it. All right, man.
I'm going to find Chris because you have some FAQs coming back. I see some amazing questions coming in, and so
Michael,
it's good to see you again.
Yeah, same.
And we'll see you guys soon on our special Grow Social Boost workshop. We'll schedule that soon, and just make sure that we're going to give your Facebook page some superpowers, best practices. We'll talk to you guys soon. Chris, come on back, buddy.
Thank you, man. Love you.
John Harry, thanks, bro.
Love you guys.
Michael, take this one. Grow pricing. That's always a good question. Is this because Grow is normally $497 a month. We're doing it at $397 for those who are jumping in on this workshop. So, Michael, will it go up? Are we going to increase it after people enroll?
It will double by 50% every month going forward until the end of time. No, listen, that's one of the things that I think, Ryan, we share, kind of a good way to do this, I think, is people that jump in, we want to honor you and serve you and work with your church. And so we like to just keep that price the same going forward for as long as you stay. And I saw lots of stats going by. In fact, I think there's even a slide coming up. We're not trying to lock people in. We're not trying to trick people. We're not trying to convince somebody that doesn't need this that they do need it. I think if this will help your church or not. And so if you join at the price, you'll join at the price. I think the only thing that will change, Ryan, is we're going to try to keep adding more stuff to it, right? So if there's any changes, it will not be to raise the price, but it'll be just to add more church field resources, to add more things that come online in the future.
Yeah. Nathan from our team here just held up a big sign that said, hey, would you please answer the question, are the people on the team, the 27 that will be working with me, are they believers? And the answer is absolutely yes. So this is not like a team of international contractors that we don't even know who they are, and we hired them on some sort of website. It's they can run the ads. This is a high caliber experts, pastors, church leaders. We are biased, but the best in the world at what they do. We invest heavily in employing the best team on the planet. So that's why it is a higher price point. We get that. But you want the best people on the journey with you, right? Some people may say, well, it'd be awesome if this was a little bit cheaper. In order to do that, you're probably giving up, we're working with people who are believers and pastors and coaches and that are paid well to do this. And so you don't want a cheap program. When it comes to the mission of your church, you want to invest in a program that is world-class. Okay?
Well, I think that's an excellent point, Ryan. I think that was a great question. Whoever asked that, I think Paul, because I've actually seen pages from similar things that you could look at it and tell that something is off, with the words or with the language. And, all these pages and all these ads, they're representing your church. So, I think you want somebody who's a believer who loves the church, creating them and running them. And that's who all those people are. So that was a great question.
Great question. Some people were asking, in every ad is custom to your church. So what we do, we have the automatic invite system, our team, and we're doing this for 600 churches. What's great is when you jump in, you get the benefit of a team that's doing this for hundreds of churches. So when you jump in, you are immediately getting ads and campaigns. We right now are managing over 13,000 ads, and they're the best of the best. So when you jump in, you get the best type of ad campaigns that work the best for all the churches. It's something that's pretty unique. And then we do allow you to ask to create custom ads. So when you create your big three, one of the things that you'll do as Grow is you just, hey, we're doing a trunk or treat. Can we get custom ads, Google ads for that trunk or treat? Yes. Hey, we're doing a big Christmas Eve service. Can we get custom ads? Yes. And so we create custom ads for your big momentum events. Okay. Again, the caliber of the team plus the ability to request custom things. It is if you see a price point, it is an amazing program at the most affordable rate that we can make it to make it high caliber. So, Chris, this is a good one. Do Google ads work for smaller communities? You could also double this up because they'll ask to do prayer ads. The same thing. So
no, I think smaller communities sometimes even have kind of an unfair advantage because you can reach everybody, right, with somebody else's money, right, with all of Google's Google's ad grant. Right now, you're using Google's money to share the gospel with people and invite people to church. So absolutely it does, right? Because people in small communities still use Google every single day. The average Google user Googles something 3 times a day, right? So it doesn't matter if you're in a big community, a small community, medium sized. Every single person's, going on Google. They're Googling something 3 times a day. So absolutely, the people in smaller communities are. And the great thing is you have an even easier chance to just show up in front of those people and invite them to church. So absolutely.
So I saw a question in the chat. What do you recommend for Facebook ad spend? So we recommend this fall, every Grow church do the prayer ads twice in those ministry seasons. And then an easy way to think about it would be, $300 for that first one. It would be able to kickstart you in your ministry ads there. So which basically $10 a day. I mean, you can do more, you can do less. Chris actually has all that figured out. But one of the things I wanted to say, just kind of a funny thing, my parents, David and Judy Wakefield, they're always sending me checks. Like, honey, you're helping churches. How do we help? I'm like, quit sending me checks. But one of the cool things is they want to help some of our Grow churches pay for their Facebook ad spend. And so we can't, they can sponsor it. So one of the things that we're going to start doing is if for those of you who are like, man, I want to try it, reach out to me. Whoever asked that question, reach out to me. If you want to jump into Grow, David and Judy Wakefield will pay for your first month prayer ads because they just want to help some of our Grow churches. So that's one of the things that we want to start doing as well. So kind of cool. Give a shout out to my parents. But that's an easy way to think of it. And then there are some churches that they're like, once you start praying for people, you'll just pray. You're just like, man, why would we ever turn this off? And so you'll just keep the prayer ads going all day, every single day. And so kind of a cool thing there. So how do you recommend how often do you recommend doing the prayer ads? We just kind of talked about that. At least your ministry seasons. Yep. And every Grow church needs to do it at least one time this fall, ideally twice. But if you want to do it all year round, do it all year round. Anything else you can say that around the frequency?
And we have a calendar we can show you inside of Grow, whatever. But it's all those ministry seasons, right? So in between back to school and harvest party, in between harvest party and Christmas, right? And then kind of in between New Year's and Easter, definitely after Mother's Day and all throughout the entire summer. So just those natural ministry times, right, where you don't necessarily just have a ton of people who are naturally coming to church. Because of Christmas or Easter, those in-between times are ministry times, and those are the perfect times to run prayer ads.
John's asking, Google ads and Facebook ads, are both these included in the program? So the big part, John, we start you with that automatic invite system. We get the Google ad grant, so that $120,000, we can immediately get the access to our team to set up those ads, run those ads. And then Chris will show our Grow churches exactly the type of ads to run going into Christmas, going into Easter, Mother's Day. We have live boot camp experiences. He creates the ads. You click it with one button, they become your Facebook ads. So all of that is included. Now the Facebook ad spend would be on top of that. And so I think it was for, I don't know if it was Jeff there or I can't remember who it was that I saw that that's the part that David and Judy Wakefield wanted to cover. So
But Ryan, I think so. Chris is going to help the church get the Facebook ads up and running and working and the system. And then it's up to the church to kind of determine what that budget of the ad should be. So they could spend a little, they could spend a lot. I heard of, I don't think we talked about this, but I heard of a church. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll think of it in a minute. That actually had somebody in their church, like a church member, that specifically wanted to pay for the ad. So they were like your parents, Ryan. They're like, hey, if our church wants to run the ads, we'll pay for the ads. And so, Chris can come in and help, this is the ad you should run. And then maybe there's somebody in your church that's super passionate about that would pay for the ad spend.
Yep. Yeah, we have a lot of churches that do that very thing. We have something man, I'm going to grab a spot and then I'm going to take, a major donor out to lunch, somebody who's passionate about missions, local missions, and say, hey, we've got this cool opportunity. And a lot of times we will have people underwrite the entire Grow and the ad spend for Facebook and Instagram for that church, as a major donor gift. And they're like, man, Pastor, let me cover that for the year. And so for a lot of you, I would recommend grab a spot and then, take somebody out to breakfast and pitch them hey, we have an opportunity to do local missions here. And this is what it would look like. This is what it is. Would this be something that you and your family would be interested in investing in? you might be surprised what God does, and you might have somebody write you a check and say, hey, Pastor, let me cover this for the next 5 years. You never know. Make it a matter of prayer. Pitch it out there. Some churches will take up a local missions offering. Hey, we have this opportunity. Here's what it is. The offering all today is going to go towards helping our church reach our community. This is the plan. We're going to pray for people this fall. We're going to run Google and Facebook ads. We're going to get the word out. We're going to do these 3 events. And everything today coming in the offering is going to go towards this local missions project. And so there's a lot of get creative, get scrappy. Like the mission is worth it. And yeah, so there's lots of ways, to kind of figure that out. Chris, you want to take this one?
So we talked about this here a little bit earlier, but so there's no contract, there's no commitment, there's nothing like that, right? So it's month to month, cancel anytime, no commitment, right? We want to help you, and we want to see if Grow can be the right fit for your church, and see if we can get you a steady stream of new families every Sunday. So no commitment.
Yeah, and guys, if you're hanging around here, we are into the Q&A time. Again, we want to give you guys the biggest and best opportunity to jump in there, grab one of those spots at churchfuel.com/order. And we just want to hang here. Remember, the team is also available to chat at churchfuel.com/talk. We got people in there. If you are still here in the chat and you have a question, would you please go ahead and put that in the chat live? Team, would you leave maybe the live questions coming in? You guys can ask about anything in the workshop. And we want to answer those live. So leave those in the chat, team, just for a little bit before you take it over into the Q&A. I saw Robert ask, what happens if I sign up today? Robert, we get working today. What you saw Chris map out, we start today working to get your church that Google ad grant. We get the automatic invite system up and going. We've got the live experience with John Eric. Chris will work with you and Caleb to get the prayer ads up and go. We're ready to go, and that's why it's a limited amount of spots, is because we know that with those churches that will jump in and get one of those spots, we are sitting on ready, and we will be like, man, let's go, let's roll. So that's what happens today, is as quickly as we can, we're going to get you up and going and get those invites out there to reach the searchers there. So Emmanuel, if Facebook's not allowing you to run a campaign, Emmanuel, you need to come to the live bonus with John Eric. Sometimes it's a setting thing. John Eric kind of has being a developer with Facebook, has some ways to get support and help. That's one of the things that we're going to make available. I hope I'm not breaking the surprise, but he's going to be able to bring online. There's a lot of problems. Maybe man, my account doesn't feel like it's set up right, or man, we're getting these weird alerts. So he's going to be able to help us navigate that with our Grow churches. Again, that's why I just keep reiterating. That's why it's a small group. It's because it's if you've ever tried to get a hold of somebody at Facebook, that's a time intense thing. So that's for those who are saying, hey, I'm all in, you're going to get some superpowers there. So, if you're in that situation, be sure you grab a spot, and then you get to the live experience there with social media boost. So, Michael, why don't you take this one here? Can we just purchase individual elements of Grow?
No. That's the answer. No, they all work together, right? Remember that one slide we had where it was hey, all these things kind of work together? So I think as time goes by, you start to see the power of combining. Ryan, you shared a great example of this being ingredients in the cake, and it's hard to separate them out. It's you need all of them. And so I think all of Grow works really well together. And then of course we're throwing in Church Fuel and some of those other things that kind of maximize, even the situation with John Eric, which is incredible, I think will kind of help make the whole thing better. So it works really well together. And so we'd love for you to kind of do all those. And we'll systematically, I think there's a system to working through, like you shared that. We're going to make sure you get the grant. We start spending that money first. Then we move on to this, then we move on to this. And so there's almost a building of momentum as it goes along. So that's why they all work together.
So Michael, I am going to throw you a curveball, because the one element, the Church Fuel Coaching All Access, in and of itself, you could get that for $99 a month.
Yeah, for sure. Good. That's a good call. Yeah, if you just want to join Church Fuel at any point in time, right? So you just go to churchfuel.com churchfuel.org/join, and you can read all about Church Fuel and get those courses, those resources, that coaching. Like, that's the one piece of this that you could join on your own, and we'll come back and talk about that later too. But if you join Grow, you'll also get that as well. So that's a good call out, Ryan. Yeah, you can just join Church Fuel, kind of the starter or all access version of that. But if you join Grow, you kind of get everything.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, again, for those who are good at doing math, you're like, okay, for $397, I get all of that and all the all access. I'm not trying to, it is a great opportunity. Chris would run prayer ads, and the whole prayer ads experience and template and support, that was a $7,500 investment. So like, can you buy? Yeah, like if you want to go, do prayer ads for $7,500 and all access for $999, or you could just get it, for half that right now and just jump into Grow. So it really is a great opportunity. Chris, why don't you take this one?
Yeah. So absolutely. Like if you don't have a website, you can absolutely jump in. Right. One of the cool things about the prayer ads is you don't even need a website. Right. All of it happens on Facebook. We can even help you set up a Facebook account if you don't have one. Right. So you don't absolutely need a website. You jump in, get the prayer ads going, and then anything that you need help with, like growing on the inside of Grow, like we'll help you, right? So if you need a website, right, let's get in, just jump into Grow. We'll get the prayer ads going for you and get some new families coming in, and then we can help you get a website and all those types of things. So, but no, you don't have to have a website. You can jump in, start running prayer ads, and start praying for people within 24 hours.
Tammy's asking, when will John Eric go live? Tammy, we're going to do that in early September. Is the plan there. So we want to get you guys in. We want to get you rolling with the Google ads and get that Google grant rolling. Then we want to get the prayer ads all set up. And then we're going to jump in with John Eric on early September is the plan for that special bonus there to give you guys a little bit of time. And then, okay, now we're ready to talk about Facebook and Instagram ads. Let's get all your settings situated there. So that's a really good question. So seeing some people like excited, if you got to go, talk to somebody in your leadership, do that. Keep in mind, you've got a 30-day money-back guarantee. So a lot of people will just grab a spot, and then you've got 30 days to run it by your leadership team, show them the information, show them the workbook, your board, all that sort of stuff. And so team can help you get the workbooks and the worksheets in the chat as well. But I would recommend, grab one of those spots and use the 30-day money-back guarantee to your advantage. That is not it is not hard. If you pitch it to your leadership team, we will help you even pitch it to your leadership team. If they say no, then man, there's no pain there. It's really easy. Man, hey, unfortunately the team said no. Can we get a refund? Absolutely. Again, there's no weird thing that's going to happen there. It's very, very easy to do that. So I would grab a spot and then talk to your leadership, if you want to talk to a major donor, so on and so forth. So how our team gain access to Grow? This is an easy one. You and your team will get a full dashboard for all of the Church Marketing University resources and the Church Fuel resources, all of your Grow. You can add team members in there. You will see the results of your Google Ad grant in there. So you'll have access to everything in a Grow dashboard. So you get a login. You can invite team members. All of your team members will get a login. There's not an additional cost for team members. So they will all get access to all of these resources. And the coaching, if you're like, hey, I need to sign up for help with coaching, all of that will be done through your dashboard, your Grow dashboard there. Michael, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I think, what if I don't have a big team? I mean, honestly, I think about that kind of stuff all the time because pastors are very busy. So if you don't have a big team, I think like the Church Fuel team can be your team. And help run some of this stuff. And again, people that love the church, care about the church, care about your church. And so for sure. So if you don't have a team, let us be a team. If you do have a team, that it kind of makes the team better, right? So it's like the best practices, the best ideas, and you can kind of combine strength on strength and do that better. So I think both of those situations, out of the 600 churches that are part of this, there's definitely, people that don't have big teams, and then there's people that have teams. So I think you'd find some comfort there, even if you don't have a team, for sure.
Yep. I'm seeing some more people jump in. Kathleen, hey, welcome to Grow. Tamiko, welcome to Grow. Ronald, welcome to Grow. Ted, Rhonda, Jeff, Mike, Hinsey, Dwayne. If I mess up your name, I apologize. Solid Rock, welcome to Grow. Andrew, Willie, Jennifer, Impact Church. Man, it's cool you guys jumping in there. Keep in mind, if you need to talk, if you're in a unique situation, you need to talk to somebody, you can go to churchfuel.com/talk, and that'll get you in a Zoom room where you can talk to the team here. I was seeing somebody in the chat there. I might have got pulled over. I think a lot of the team is trying to answer a lot of the questions as we go there. So if I need help at a place, I live in Canada. Let's see there. Yeah, we can in Canada and the United States as well. So let's see the next question. If I am in a unique situation, will the Google grant work for my church? You want to take this one?
Yeah, I mean, so I would say if you're in a unique situation, probably the best thing is just to talk with us, right? Like, just tell us a little bit more about your situations. That way we can let you know if we think it'd work for you or if it won't, right? We know it's not a great fit for every church. So I would just say jump into churchfuel.com/talk. And we've got our team members on there. That way you can kind of explain your situation a little bit, and they can let you know whether or not it'll work for you.
Team, if you guys would pin a post to like churchfuel.com/talk, that would be super helpful. Again, we got Caleb on the team over there that can help you. Sherry, Molly. If you've got those unique situations for the Google grant, Molly's a great one to talk to. If you see Allison over there, she's a good one too that can help navigate a special situation. A lot of churches are asking about like, hey, we have some unique ministries, maybe a divorce care or counseling, or so we can run, in most cases, we can run Google ad grants to those ministries of your church as well. If you have even other things that are part of your church, it could be some Mother's Day out type programs and all that sort of stuff. As long as it's a part of your church, your 501c3, it's all under one board, we should be able to run the Google ad grant in those situations as well. So that's a really cool opportunity if your church is meeting a specific need in the community to use Google's money to get the word out that service and ministry exists. We can work with you to do that, and we can set up custom ads to do that.
I actually think, Brian, that's a really pastoral use of this too, because a lot of churches, like maybe you have a recovery ministry or maybe you have a divorce ministry or whatever. And like, if you literally, like, maybe after this is over, like open up a Google page and just search for divorce, and like what's going to come up is a bunch of divorce attorneys and like $99 divorce. And I mean, it's crazy. But if your church has a ministry to that, like what would it look like if your church began to show up in those? And literally that is a use case for a Google grant ad, because you can drive traffic to unique pages for ministries, for kids events, for family events. I mean, just for things that meet real needs. And you can have pages on your site that offer hope to people instead of like a $200 divorce. It's like that's where our churches should be showing up. And I think the Grow program will help you get all that kind of optimized.
Yeah, that's a great point there, guys. And so if you have a heart for a really specific area, this is a good opportunity to add fuel to that ministry and that awareness. And again, if you have questions about the ins and outs of that, well, what about this? What about that? We have a preschool, or we have an elementary school, or we have, what about 501c3 with our umbrella organization? I would jump over to churchfuel.com/talk and visit with our team. Thank you for the shout out on our team and just how responsive they are in the chat and the text message there. But they can walk you through all of that. And keep in mind, one of the guarantees that you will get is when you enroll and grow, our team will work with you to get the Google ad grant taken care of. And if in the first 30 days we can't get that solved and taken care of for your church, or put you on a pathway to get it solved, then we'll give you your money back. So if you're wondering, like, man, I wonder if we would actually be able to do it under a denomination or under this or that, if you jump in and we can't solve that for you, working with our team, again, in the first 30 days, we'll give you your money back there. Same thing with a leadership approval. We get that all the time. Hey, I love this. I'm in. but I got to get my leadership to take a look at it. If you don't get leadership approval, again, you get 30 days. So have a board meeting, finance meeting, talk with your pastor, 30 days, money back guarantee. You can just, so leadership approval and the Google grant are a really easy one to just take the risk off the table there. And then I would also say, like, the one thing is you got 30 days on that. The John Eric bonus is just for churches that will jump in today and our existing grow churches. So that's for between now and midnight tonight. Again, there's the link right there. Thank you, team. If you need to talk to somebody on the team, you're in a unique situation, you've got questions about a 501c3 or types of campaigns or what this would look like to implement at your church, a strategy kind of question with Caleb, you can go to churchfuel.com/talk. And you can talk with the team right there. So churchfuel.com/talk. Is my church eligible for the Google grant? You want to take that one? I mean, we kind of talked about that a little bit there.
I mean, if you have a 501c3, then absolutely. If you have questions about your 501c3 or about the situation in the country, something like that, I would say just jump into churchfuel.com/talk, and you can talk to our team and literally just tell them, where you're at and what your concern is, whatever, and they can tell you whether or not that you are. But most churches are, right? And that's one of the things we talk about. Like, if you jump into Grow and you're not eligible for the Google grant, like, we'll just give you your money back. Right? All we're trying to do is help you and help you get the word out. So jump into churchfuel.com/talk, and we can help you out and answer your specific question.
I see Jamie there. Hey, just enrolled in Grow, waiting my sign information. Jamie, hey, congratulations. Great to have you a part. I saw Donald, Eric, Marcia, Steve. I saw some other, Anthony, One Church, Center Cross Church, Trinity Family Church, Sunlight Community Church. I love love you guys. Love everybody. We're here to help everybody, but it's just cool to see the action people are taking. So welcome. Jamie, there are a lot of churches enrolling right now, so give our system a couple extra minutes to make sure that you get your sign-in information. If you don't get your login information within, I would say, the first 10 minutes, sometimes there's those weird folders, spam folder, junk folder, promotions folder, social folder. You might take a look in there. Or do a search, for Church Marketing University is where it will come from, and then drag that to you like your favorites or your inbox. But it may be stuck in a weird folder there if you don't see it within 10 minutes. Right now, when we're having a kind of a busy sign-in time, it may be a little bit delayed there, but you should get it within 10 minutes. What if our church already has the Google Ad Grant? Yeah, if you've already applied for it, we have a lot of churches that are like, hey, we have it and it's just kind of sitting there. We had a volunteer using it, but we're only spending like $200 a month. Or like, man, we had hired another agency and they were charging us $1,000 a month. And man, this sounds, so if you already have it, man, that's the easiest church to just jump in. Our team can work to just get access to it. And then, you may be spending, hey, we're only spending $200 a month. Let's get that up to $10,000, a month. And so if you already have it, that is an easy slam dunk to just jump into Grow, and let's get that all ready to go for the fall. So again, if you're still hanging on here, we're going to answer any questions. If you got questions about the workshop, if you got questions about Grow, Michael, Chris, myself, and the team are still here. So if you want to throw any questions in the chat or Q&A feature there. If you want to grab one of those spots, churchfuel.com/order. Again, for those of you got to go talk to somebody real quick, you got till midnight tonight to grab one of those spots with the John Eric social media bonus there. But churchfuel.com/order. You will see on the bottom of that page just a little bar that will explain how many spots are left. And then if you come back throughout the day, you just track along so you can make sure that you grab one of those spots. And then again, keep in mind, there'll be a lot of churches jump in later today to get one of those spots. So just be aware of that there. So welcome, Michael. Just enrolled pending approval. Okay, very cool, Michael. Welcome. Churchfuel.com/order. Doug, this is a good one.
Dude, I love me some Doug Barch. Right? He's one of our Grow churches. He's been using the prayer ads for a while now. Said we prayed for over 2,600 people and had hundreds of planner visits, which is pretty awesome.
Is Doug the one that actually, you told him not to do the math on the tithers, but he did the math on the tithers?
Yeah. So what's funny about Doug? I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, right? So like Doug and I talked about the prayer ads, and like he decided not to do it, and then came back like a year later and was like, okay, let's do the prayer ads. And it just exploded from the time we started. It's like, I can't believe I waited to do this. We could have prayed for so many people in the last year, right? And so and he's been doing it for a while. But yeah, he was like, well, what about like all the new people that are coming in, and then versus like all the new tithers and the money that's coming in? And I was like, dude, don't worry about it. Just pray for people, man. Just do ministry. Like, don't try to figure out ROI or whatever. But then he ran it, and he was like, hey man, I ran it, and then the numbers are crazy. Like, growth paid for itself, like, I don't know, 5 times or something like over it. I was like, okay, yeah, but I mean, just pray for people. Doug's awesome. Yeah, incredible.
Doug's awesome. We got a multiple slide in there a couple times. Zach Minton is another good one. Grow is one of the best staff members that we have. We love that compliment because when we do really love to see ourselves as an extension of your staff. Just in general, we want to be partners with you in ministry. No matter who you are, where you are in the journey, what program you're part of, what workshop, and we are partners. We're in the trenches with you. But certainly, if you're like, man, I could use an extra staff. In fact, I could use an extra 27 of them for a fraction of what it would be to hire like a full-time. Love that comment from Zach there, one of the best staff members that we have. This is the follow-up from Doug there.
Yes. Yeah. So, Doug Falk said, hey, start to grow, cut out all the other fluff stuff and subscriptions and move budget around to include it. It's priceless and will the end pay for itself. That's actually a different Doug. So that's,
there's more than one Doug?
Maybe all the Dougs, Grow Dougs. This is Daryl. This is awesome. So CMU Grow is worth the money. We had plateaued and we're not seeing any visitors. Now we have a steady stream of people that are either visited our church or are planning to visit. And we have so much more to install in the CMU Grow system. So pretty cool. And I mean, I just love it. I could look at these all day. We've got so many of these, but these churches that are praying for people, right? Church of 35, church of 150, right? Church of 20. Showed you guys that one here earlier. So if it makes sense, if you guys want to work with our team, .com/order and you can jump into Grow.
So I've got about 663, well, about exactly here live with us. Here would be my question to you. What is your number one question as it relates to either the workshop content? Like, what is your number one question that would help you move forward this fall? Or what is your number one question that if you could get it answered would help you make your decision for Grow? So give us your top question right now. Like what is keeping you maybe from taking action or that you would need to understand for the fall visitor plan? And then maybe what is keeping you from taking action for jumping into Grow? Either one of those. And then team, if you guys would leave that in the chat for a second, we'd love to answer those live and then you guys can take them over to the Q&A option. But in this case, guys, if you're on live, please put that in the chat. We'd love it. And if you can't, I think maybe if you don't have chat options right now, you might be able to log back out and back in to get those options. So Alex, number one, how much time do I need to spend per week working with your team? So Alex, good question. I think the answer is going to be it depends. I like to describe Grow in the context of this question like a bonfire, right? So like what you want to do, the first step we do is we apply for the Google grant, we get $120,000, and then our team sets up the Google ads, the everyday invites, the momentum invites, and the ministry invites. And so like you have a bonfire started, right? So now you don't, at that point, Alex, in the first 3 weeks, you don't have to do anything else at that point. If you're just like, man, I just want the team to run it, maximize it, I'll be out there every single day inviting, great. Like if you're a busy pastor, maybe you're like, man, I've got a sabbatical coming up. Like, great. Like let our team be inviting people to your church, even while you don't have time or budget or ability to do it. So Alex, the answer is after you get that up and going, that's the reason why we call it an automatic invite system. It's automatic because our team is running it for you. Okay. Now, if you want to add fuel to the fire. So if you imagine, okay, I've got a bonfire going, but now I'm starting to look at this as a huge opportunity. All right, you've got these events coming up and you want the person that's the best in the world at Facebook ads and Instagram ads to show you the perfect ad to run. So you're not guessing, about your fall trunk or treat. Like Chris can make your event explode in a good way. So you're like, man, we want to add fuel to these momentum events. Then you can jump in. It's a little bit more time and energy on your part to work with our team and max out those events. Same thing with the prayer ads. Man, now we got those everyday ads going. Man, this is awesome. Now we're maxing out. Like we just doubled. We've got slides of people like, hey, we've doubled the amount of kids at our Christmas event or experience, or our Easter egg, or our trunk or treat, whatever it is. Like those are going great. But now we need that ministry component. We don't want to just have these big events. We want to have a meaningful ministry happening every single week. And then so now let's jump in and do those prayer ads. Those look amazing. And then really what we wanted to communicate, when you add all those together, that's your visitor system. Okay, that's grow. That's why it's so impactful. So Michael's asking, who pays for the Google ads after the 10,000? So Michael, good question. Our team will work with you to make sure that once you hit 10,000, no one else, your church will not get charged unless you would like to be. And that's a very, very rare case. Most churches will say, hey, once your team maxes out the $10,000 a month, we want that to be the max, and then it resets the next month. So we would probably recommend for most Grow churches, let's not you guys spend. If you're going to spend more than the Google ads, let's invest that in the prayer ads, and let's invest that in the momentum ads.
Michael, the short answer is this: when it hits 10,000, the ads will just shut off. So you'll never go over. You'll never spend more than $10,000. It's an ad credit we get from Google. So as soon as it hits 10,000, it automatically shuts off. You'll never spend more than that.
And then it starts over next month, though. So every month.
Michael, I know your time is short here, so I thought maybe in the chat, Chris and I will hang around, keep answering questions, but in the chat there, is there one question that you would like to take and field and answer, or is there maybe one last thing that you would want to encourage the church?
Let me scroll back through this chat and just see if we missed anything. I want to answer this question because this is a great one. I think this was a more of a hype question, but where are we going to put all the visitors? I like that. I like that optimism, but that's actually a really important question. And one of the things that we'll do, particularly on some of the resources that we're going to be adding in for you, is on follow-up, is on connecting people, is on like Ryan, you started off by saying we want to have growing and healthy churches, and I think growing churches have visitors. The healthy churches connect people really well into the body, to the kingdom, to all those things. And so I would just say, when we talk to pastors, they say one of the biggest problems that we have is not enough new people. This is a great option. So this is a great option to help solve that problem. And again, I would just underline what I said earlier. You can do a lot of this. Like, figure it out. Like work on this and figure it out. Don't just say, hey, we don't have new people. We don't have new people. Figure it out. And you can figure that out. Or if you want to have, Chris and the team and all that stuff do that, that's a great option. But do one of those two things, right? Do one of those two things. And then when they come, we also want to jump in and help you know how to help them get connected, how to help get people discipled. That's the healthy part of church. So that's important too. So I think by being here today, to me, that indicates you're raising your hand and say, hey, we want to have new people and we're willing to do some work. So that's encouraging to me. And I think it's also encouraging, even just seeing all these people jumping in to grow today, of like, hey, they're like, let's make some progress. So what you're doing is important. My email address is michael@churchfield.com. If you have a question, you want to ask me anything church related, our members, they text me, they have my cell phone number. So we want to be with you, not just for you, cheering you on from the sideline, but literally with you in ministry. And I hope you feel that from the team in the chat and questions as you're texting and stuff. And so I just say thanks for being here. It's a huge investment of your time. So thanks for doing that.
Love it. Thank you, Michael, very much, man. I know you got another meeting coming up here. So thank
Awesome.
you.
It's good to see you guys.
All right.
Great to see you, Michael.
Great work.
Bye.
Hey, I saw somebody in here asking about some of the functionality. I thought I would just real quick. So team, I'm going to stop the slide deck real quick. So Nathan might show you here. If this works, might show you what the inside of Grow looks like. So let me share my screen. I think that works. So like when you get your login here, so for our Grow churches, you guys have a 21-minute version where we outline the fall plan, what we just did, but in the context of, okay, now that you're in Grow, here's how we're going to tackle the fall for you there. So the plan is done for you, and Chris and I explain what that's like. And then for those who are brand new, yours will look like this. We're like, hey, this is what you do. You start here, you go here, and then you go here. So 1, 2, 3, and then we'll just walk you through those steps. And so it's really easy when you get started. It's just step by step. Here's step 1 in our team. You get an account rep that walks with you. Welcome to step 1. It takes about 6 minutes to do step 1, and we're often going there. And so it's very well done. It's very organized. It's very easy to kind of track along with. And again, you've got a personal coach, you've got a personal account rep that will help you navigate it. And then once you get this up and going, I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but like there is so much inside of your dashboard that's going to help you do those big momentum events. We didn't even have time to really talk about all the different resources that you're going to get there. So like there's a ton coming up. You've got some events that are going to be in here as well. So we got our visitor growth engine boot camp. We got our Christmas ads. So like there's a lot that's going to unlock there as you jump into Grow. So that gives you a little bit of a sneak peek for those who are jumping in, kind of see what that looks like on the inside of Grow there. And yeah, it's really cool. The dashboard's going to be a huge help, super help for you there as you navigate it. So hey, I'm going to jump back over to the chat again for those who are still hanging in here. Again, what we're asking is like, okay, what is your number one question as it relates to the workshop? What do you need to what do you need to have answered to help you go implement and reach young families, reach families this fall, and get those 10 to 15 new families? What do you need to know? How can we still serve you and help you? Or what do you need to know to make a good decision to jump in to Grow? If you're thinking about that, man, we are here to help. So how can we help? So if you want to put that in the chat, Chris and I will hang out here for a little bit.
Let me answer this. Gordon, you're saying you're confused about the 10,000 versus 120,000, like the Google grant. So the Google grant is $10,000 a month forever, right? So it's a lifetime grant. So for as long as the program exists, you have $10,000 a month every month. So it's $120,000 a year, $10,000 a month, $120,000 a year in Google Ads, whatever that you can use. And then again, we'll build all those campaigns out for you.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so just the 120,000 just is 10 times 12, right? So like if you max it out, and our team will work, really, really hard to max it out for you, you will spend up to $120,000 of Google's money. Yep. So I see Julianne there as well. If you need to talk with somebody, if you're like, hey, I'm in a unique situation, or I've got a question, I think I kind of understand what the answer is. If you head to churchfuel.com/talk, that will put you in a Zoom room. We've got our team, some of our team in there. You can talk with Sherry. You can talk with Molly about Google Ads or like a 501c3 question. If you got a strategy question or a prayer ads question, you got Caleb in there as well. And so like if you need to talk to somebody, churchfuel.com/talk. So Jamie, as a new member of Grow, do we have to apply for the Google grant, or is it already placed upon? So Jamie, we will work with you to apply for the Google grant. So the dashboard that I just showed you actually will walk through step by step. It's a little bit weird on some of the steps, so we've made it really, really simple. Our team has already done this with over 600 churches, and so they're very good at this. But one of the things that we do is we have the individual church apply for the grant. We'll show you how. We make it simple and painless and easy. But we want you to actually get the grant. That way you control it, you have access to it. And then, if eventually you move on from Grow, like that grant stays with you. So that's just something, just to be aware of. We want you, that grant is yours, and then Grow is us managing the grant. So in there, you'll give our team access, and then we'll help you get it all set up. So, but good question there. Bridget was asking, do you help to set up the plan to visit aspect? Oh, plan a visit aspect of a person's website, or just coach them? Good question. You want to take that one?
Yeah. So absolutely. We'll help you. We have a whole course and training on the inside of it. Shows you exactly how to set all of that up. It's all really easy. It's all plug and play. We'll show you exactly how to do that.
In fact, Bridget, if you hang on here just a second, I will literally show you kind of what that looks like. But I'm sitting here with Grace Baptist Church, House of Praise, Chad from Life Church, Timothy Smith, New Life Church, Celebration Church, Jamie from Calvary Baptist Church, Anthony Face to Face Worship Center, Ronnie Faith Holiness Church there, Michael Good Shepherd Baptist Church, Solomon's Cross Point Manifest Church, Jamie Lopez, First Assembly of God. That's kind of my background. AG in the house. Eric Golden. Hey, welcome. Rick Files, Living Word Restoration. Man, it's great to have you guys jumping in to grow there. If for some reason you jumped in to grow and I haven't said your name and I missed it, man, just chat the team and be like, hey, did my enrollment come through? Like, hey, I'm checking so here. But I wanted to show Bridget real quick what this looks like. So Bridget, what's cool is we have live boot camp experiences in Grow where Chris will walk you through like the step-by-step plan. And then we also, if this works well again, screen share. So we also didn't have these on-demand experiences. So where you can go through and really get the high-level coaching, on whether it's follow-up, the visitor growth engine, prayer ads, church website, plan your visit. So you can see here, like all of this is ready to go. So you're like, man, that sounds awesome, but the plan your visit boot camp is like still a month away. You don't have to wait. You can jump in and go through the experience. What's cool too with Grow is you've got access to our coaching program. So if you're going through here and you're like, okay, this is awesome, and you're like, okay, man, people are planning their visit, but my show up rate isn't as high as I would like it to be. Let me jump in, talk to a coach, and a coach can help you navigate how you get people to actually show up, right? So that's the benefit of you get on demand, you get live experiences, and then you get the coaching program that will help you kind of navigate that as well. So that's how it looks like inside. Man, this is so beautiful. Hey, give Chase a shout out on the team. Give
Chase
Nathan
does such a great job.
a shout out. Give Bo a great shout out there. Like, it is so cool to see. I'm just very proud of all of the Grow courses, the experiences, what Chris and Caleb do all the time there. So that, Bridget, hopefully that explains the different options that you have there. So I'm seeing Marley. My husband and I will pay for the first 3 months. Okay, there you go, Marley. Welcome to Grow. That's awesome. I think we got Gordon's. Okay. I'm trying to look here, guys. So if you guys have any questions, again, we're here to hang out, answer any questions. If you got a specific questions, churchfuel.com/talk. I think Jeff here, does it make sense to have plan your visit when you have a church of 5 and people are coming in to simply worship in one room? Any thoughts on that for Jeff? So if you've got a smaller church.
Yeah, Jeff, so I think if you have a church of 5, I'd really focus on evangelism, right? And in fact, if you have a church of 5, I would actually go out and offer to pray for people, right? Instead of running prayer ads and that kind of stuff, right? Like if you have a smaller budget, a smaller congregation, like 5 people, the great thing is we call it the gas station principle, but I know one of the fastest growing churches in America in the 90s, the pastor, because they were small, he would just go to a local gas station, right? And pump people's gas, and while he's pumping their gas, say, hey man, how can I pray for you? Right. And then he'd pray for people and invite them to church. Right. Now, you probably don't want to go to a gas station, go do the same thing. That worked in 1992. They might call the cops on you here in 2023 if you go try to pump people's gas. But go out, people, right, and pray for people in public. Offer, you can put up a sign that says free prayer or have a booth or something like that. I've seen that work really well. But I would just work on evangelism, inviting people to church, organic, authentic invites. And then offering to pray for people and then inviting them out to church and really just kind of build a relationship that way. That's what I'd recommend.
Love it. Channel is asking here, I've taken action. Do you have a Facebook group we can join? Absolutely. We have a group called Church Marketers. That is kind of our general way that we help churches, kind of go on this journey with them. And then for those who are jumping in to grow, we have a Church Fuel family group that is specifically for churches who are on this kind of journey with us. Our coaches are in there as well. So we do have some Facebook groups. Again, for our grow, a lot of that coaching and help is going to be through that coaching program. So it's much more, a little bit more personalized. Church Marketers Group, I think, has like 15,000, which is great. That's great. But sometimes you're like, man, I need an answer like to my question from a pastor or a coach, or not like 15,000 people that all have opinions. So yeah, we do have groups that you can join. Love those groups. And then again, if you jump into grow, you can do a search for the Church Fuel family group there to join in there as well. So good. Any other questions, guys? Again, we want to hang on here live. We committed, like if you've got questions about implementing the plan, what questions do you have? What's your number one question? What's keeping you maybe from taking action? If you could get this answered, or if you want to jump into grow and there's a question that's keeping you from taking action, what is that specific? We'd love to answer that question there. Just go ahead and put it in the chat. So Nathan is asking, best way to invite our pastor to grow. So you want to take this one? What would you say? Like, okay, Nathan, it sounds like Nathan, do I have this right? You're maybe like an associate on the team, want to jump into grow, but is this like hey, I need to, by invite, is that a nice way of saying, hey, I need to convince my pastor we should do this?
Yeah. I mean, and here's, one of the things I actually did when I was in ministry, right, is I actually signed up for a program, right, and then talked to my church, because if there's a 30-day money back guarantee, it's like, man, have them come in, meet the team, and hear and kind of see everything that's included. If it's not a good fit, right, we'll just refund you and give you your money back. That's one option. Again, that's what I've done multiple times, right? So, I think that's the easiest thing. But yeah, we've got the if he can't make it, if he wasn't on here today, we can absolutely have that conversation. Or you could take him over to churchfuel.com/talk right now and literally have him talk with some of the team members, answer any questions he might have, if that's helpful.
Yeah. We have a lot of those conversations going on. So right now, if you could, Nathan, get him into that talk, I would recommend connecting with Caleb. Caleb's great working with teams in kind of a strategy call. He can give you kind of a recap of what's included and then answer any questions that the pastor might have. We may have a few little times. Caleb is maxed out right now helping a ton of churches. So we may have a few times where you could schedule a call with Caleb, but we can't promise that. Like his schedule fills up really fast, but there is a chance that we might be able to, if right now isn't a good time, like right now is the best time because Caleb is over there in the Zoom room. But if you need to kind of follow up, we might give you a chance to get connected with Caleb and do a strategy call with him there. So, all right, I already saw somebody who's like, they're already taking action. They already submitted their first Facebook ad. Like they're ready to go. Love this. So Alex is asking the question, at the end of my paid Grow subscription, can I take over the Google ad campaign and run in-house? So Alex, this is a little nuanced here. So I want to make sure I say this correct. We have the church apply for the Google grant, so the grant is yours. And then what you have access to if you were to cancel Grow, you keep access to the Google grant. However, the campaigns that our team set up and run, whether they're Google campaigns or the prayer ad campaigns, those are basically shut off. So you can keep running ads using Google's money, but you would set up those campaigns. The reason why we do that is because these platforms change all of the time. You heard John Eric say social media platform changes like right now every 3 minutes. So if we make the commitment for the churches that grow, that we help you stay ahead of the curve. So when Google changed something and your account gets an alert, we go in and we fix it, we change it. We apply, they want everybody to do this. Okay, we go in and do that. So we monitor it, we change it, we make sure that you're not in violation of their policies. That's the same way what we do on Facebook. So we keep your account in good standing and running at a very high level. What we can have happen is if somebody cancels, there's now that monitoring service is no longer happening. So what can happen if you're not having somebody actively monitor your account, Google or Facebook can say, hey, you're actually in violation. we gave you a warning, you guys didn't make changes, we're actually now going to take the grant away from you, or we're going to basically turn off your Facebook page or turn off your ad account. It happens all the time. So what happens is, if you are still running our campaigns without our monitoring, that could basically get your account shut down. That would put us as liable for that type of situation. And so in order for us to say, hey, if you're in Grow, we will take on that risk. We will monitor, we will update, we will make sure that you're in good standing, we'll make sure that it's working great. But if you're not, what we can't have happen is, oh, we canceled a couple months later, hey, Church Fuel, you guys were running this and Google shut off our account because of it. Well, that's now, like, we would be accepting that liability. So just to make clear, you will still have the grant, you'll still have the ability to run Facebook ads or Google ads, but the campaigns that come with Grow are shut off so that we're not liable when your account gets flagged or you lose the grant or your page gets shut down. We don't want that to be on us because we now no longer are able to monitor that. So just be very clear about that. You can take it and run the with your account, but the campaigns, the Grow campaigns are shut off for that reason. So,
and I'll say this too. This actually happened to me, right? So when we first had it, I was like, okay, I'm just going to jump in and figure this out, right? And figured it out. And then what happened is, literally one day, Google made a change, right? And all of a sudden, my account got flagged. This was like back in like 2017, right? And so like my account, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on, right? And then I got another warning, and then they were about to take the grant away from us, right? So I told you, I found a guy, paid him $500 a month, so we'd get that $10,000 a month. And he ran it for a long time. And then literally what happened was, when I went off staff, at some point somebody forgot who he was, stopped paying him, and we lost the grant. Right? We lost it, and all the campaigns, everything went away. And then we had to come back to him months later and pay him to go back to Google, secure that grant for us, set everything back up. And then I was like, okay, let's never stop paying him ever again. Right. So not saying that's going to happen to you guys, but it does happen. It's a lifetime grant. And that's one of the reasons you just always want to stay on top of those changes. And that's something our team does every day.
Hey, I kind of got a note here from the team. There's some people that are asking about the book. Maybe you joined late, but we are giving everyone Michael's book here. And so if somebody on the team would help me post the number. So don't put book in the chat. You have to text the number. I think I can find it here. Okay, it is 816-844-3306. So somebody put that in the chat. 816-844-3306. So pull out your phone, put in that number. It'll be up on the screen or pinned chat here in just a second. And you will send the word book to that number. And they'll be like, great, what's your name? And you'll say, Chris. And you'll say, okay, great, what's your email? And you'll say, Chris at whatever it is. So make sure you fill that out completely. Our team will be touching base with you in the next day to make sure we get your shipping address. There it is. Text the word book, 816-844-3306. So we'll get you a copy of the book. It's totally free. We're paying for the book. We're paying for shipping. Want that to be a blessing to you there. So if you didn't get that all filled out, I see Marion here. Maybe you sent the wrong number. So Marion, take a screenshot of that. You just type that in, type the word, and just put the word book in the text. Don't put book please or book thank you. Just the word book. Click send. Answer the 2 questions, and then we'll be touching base with you tomorrow there to get you a book. So there we go. Thank you, Julianne. Text the word book, 816-844-3306. So there we go. Alex, thank you for the thorough and clear answer. I tried, Alex. Thank you for the kind words. I was trying. That's a hard one to explain there. Gordon is asking, essentially, we need to treat this like a new church plant. Gordon, you can. Grow is a great fit for church plants. Obviously, the thing about a church plant is no one knows who you are. So you're like, we got to get the word out some way. And so that's what I did at Summit Park Church when we moved here 10 years ago. Was like, man, that was my role. Is how are we going to get the word out? And then we started using Facebook ads. We started using early kind of plan your visit things that Chris was doing. The church grew. Summit Park Church grew from 0 to about 1,000 in the first few years. And so it was like, man, what are we going to do to get the word out? And so, it's for a church plant. And Gordon, I think what you're kind of saying is like, yes, it would work great for a church plant. Let's get the word out. But essentially, maybe if your church is like stuck or you're looking to take advantage and do the most ministry as possible, man, treat this like a church plant. Like,
Yep.
hey, what's great too is you've got a good start. You may have a facility, you may have a team, you may have a kids ministry, you may have, you know, a place that you call home already. So you've got people who can pray and do ministry. You got a little bit of budget. And so essentially think through, like, kind of mentally, you're a church plant with a huge head start. Like, I wish we had all those things, right? We met at Harris Park Community Center. We met in the gym. Like, we didn't have like, you know, facilities or whatever. It was like a mess. So like, yeah, like if you are at least got a good starting point, man, this is a great opportunity to treat it like a new church plant and get the word out. Lynn said, in my denomination, I could be moved each year. I would be paying for this out of pocket. Can I use this for my next church? Is it easily transferred from current church if they want to keep going with the program? So Lynn, the Google Ad Grant will stay with the particular church. So we do have some pastors that will say, hey, I've been with you guys for a couple years. I'm taking a new role over here at this church. My current church wants to stay and grow, but I also need to now enroll my new church in Grow. And so we can do that, but the Google Ad Grant won't transfer itself. We will need to take that new church through the steps again. So if you move, a lot of people who are in Grow are like, man, I love Grow. Everywhere I go, we're going to do Grow. So it doesn't matter where I'm at. This is a non-negotiable. We're doing Grow. And so if you do move positions and you have the opportunity, we just take you back through the setup process again with the new church. So the grant won't go with you, Lynn, individually. It stays with the church. Gordon's asking for me to get board approval. I need a punch list of activities our volunteers would have to do to take advantage. Small senior citizen church, 20 people attend and about 10 active volunteers, 0 paid staff except 1/4 of a pastor. So probably a bivocational pastor. Gordon, this is what I would suggest. In your situation, you could certainly jump over to churchfuel.com/talk and visit with Caleb. But I would probably say jump in and go directly to the prayer ads. Because what I would not do is give your volunteers a whole list of a variety of things to do. I think what you would need to say to your team, especially, it sounds like you have some seasoned, volunteers and people, a congregation, like you guys are seasoned Christians, you're mature Christians, you've been around a while. So I think I would narrow the punch list down to one thing. We're going to pray for people. and that's it. You don't have to figure out all these new things. It's like, we're going to pray for people. And so, Gordon, I would recommend jumping in, just rally your church around, man, our community is hurting. People are searching for hope. What if we just committed to offering to pray for people? We can do that, right? We can do that, right? And get them, yeah, we can do that. Absolutely. People are hurting. We can certainly pray for them. We know prayer works. So why not just start there? So don't give them a full punch list. Give them one thing to do. We're going to pray for people, and then we're going to go from there. So anything that you would suggest for Gordon there?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do. I would go all in on ministry, right? Build relationships, pray for people, invite them out to church. We can show you how to do all that, right? The whole system set up for you. I'd go all in on relationship and continue to do it from there. And the great thing is, right, I think you said like fourth of a time, right? Like probably bivocational. It's only like with the prayer ads, you're talking 5 to 10 minutes a day. So it's not a lot of time, but the influence and impact is exponential.
Channel's asking, hey, I got to run. I certainly get that. Hey, Channel, man, go run. Hopefully we get to see inside of Grow, get to hang out, live experiences, bonuses, the John Eric experience. Hey, jump back in, in our next events there for sure. So I think Channel, at this point, we just want to make sure that if we committed to answer anybody's questions that they had about either the work